How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Void series. Obviously, this week we do have another amazing co-caster with us. Today we have Rafa. How's it going, mate?
Dude, I'm so I can't even get the words out. I'm excited to cast Wild Rift again. It's been a hot minute, but I feel like I'm coming back to my roots and even seeing a lot of familiar faces, not just in chat but also in the starting teams that we have for today. So I'm ready to get the show on the road, Blam.
To be fair, yeah, I think you've definitely settled into a weekend of a treat of lineups, to be fair. I mean, today we've got Puddi versus ZGG Styles. Like we were saying just before we went live, if this was like your global championships, you'd be seeing your first seed LATAM team versus second seed North American team. So, to be fair, to start this off this week with this matchup is great. I can't wait to see it. I've always loved watching Puddi throughout the qualifiers, and same with Style Esports. In that first qualifier one, those were the two teams to watch. So, you're in for a treat.
Hell yeah. Well, let's get things popping here, Blam. I see this roster and I'm just like, oh crap, it's Sentinels. I guess the last roster change that I'm not familiar with, when I was still casting them during the it was something run by Tribe, Rift Masters last fall, and it was the same roster. This is where Molly kind of just impressed everyone by swapping from mid to jungle, and then he just became the best jungle in NA, and then Ledmont went to support. Zella's not in this roster anymore. I think he took some different life pursuits, but MTS is now back with Sentinels, or I guess this roster. So, and MTS was always kind of like the next best Baron laner that we always considered in NA. So, I mean, I would still consider this roster to be like the team to beat in any landscape. But then again, I haven't been watching the NA Wild Rift scene for almost a year now. So I've got a lot of catching up to do. We'll see how everyone has leveled up across the entire playing field.
Definitely. I think that is a correct analysis of it all, to be honest. I'm pretty sure Puddi was the only team to be undefeated in Qualifier 1, if my memory serves me correctly. Yeah, they did stomp a lot of the competition. We are ready to go into the drafts, though, so it's going to be really interesting to see what we see this week. I'm really interested for this match, though, because we've been seeing a majority of red side win, because in this meta right now, the red side picks have necessarily been quite OP, because it means even though blue side get like the Camille or something like that, the red side can still get a great ADC pick, and then also deny like a good synergy pick like the Galio also. So the red side has definitely had the wins all the way through, but with Puddi being on the blue, I think we might see that actually come to change this week. So that's exciting as well.
Oh, Shenban. Okay. You know, when I was lurking in starting stream last night and just like getting a little cram session, and it's like, hey, what's competitive right now? You know, what is everyone picking these days? Are we picking in the new champs? You know, like, is the Vladimir flavor good? Is the Ornn flavor good? Volibear flavor? And you know, about some, you know, of the new picks that have come into the game. And I remember he was talking about Ornn was being Omega broken before receiving some nerfs, if I'm not mistaken. But other than that, it seems that the competitive meta hasn't really changed from what I used to watch back in the day last year. So, which I find surprising. I would have thought that, like, given almost a year, we would have had some changes. So, because you already, with what you're telling me, things like Camille and some of the AP carries, it's like, damn, the game hasn't really changed that much. We have a new rune system and everything. Like, come on. Like, where's the spice? Where's some of the new hot picks?
Yeah, literally. I mean, it has been this way. Same in EU or EMNEA as well. It has been pretty similar for a good few seasons now. So you generally get those weird flex picks now and then. But yeah, you do get that very much formulated. If it ain't broke, don't fix it meta right now on Wild Rift. And it shows that kind of wins the matches anyway. So I don't see why they would stray from it. But it is always really interesting to see some of these amazing flex picks that definitely throw it, completely turn it 180 on its head. So, but yeah, just a quick catch up on these bans for the chat. So Shen, usual ban. Gragas, the Fiora as well. We have the Ornn and the Kaiser and the Varus. And there we go. It's like I've watched this already. The Camille is the first pick for Puddi on the blue side. So there we go.
Well, as you said, Blam, the Camille first pick. Seems like not much has changed. I do respect that at least the Ornn was banned away. Is just being able to introduce some new flavor to the overall table. But one of the things that we always loved about Camille and Wild Rift is that not only the flexibility of going to Baron lane or jungle if you still want to pilot it, but the reliability of a point-and-click lockdown with that Hextech ultimatum. So the response, though, from the other side, Alistar and Vi being picked up. Also point-and-click CC from the cease and desist, as well as Alistar, reliable engage for team fights. Just already a powerhouse of CC for the team.
Yeah, I mean, the Alistar first pick was definitely not one I would expect a priority, as well as the Vi.
Okay, my bad. I didn't gauge the reaction quite correctly yet. I was like, oh, Alistar, that seems nice. It's like...
yeah. No, it's definitely been one of the it's a bit different in NA than it is to EU. Alistar definitely doesn't see the light of day in EU, but in NA we do generally get the Alistar pick, but it's normally sort of like your 4th, 5th picks. They wait till to see what the enemy team picks for their support, because right now Puddi still has the likes of the Galio still up as well for their support pick, which synergizes really well with the Camille. They've gone for the Jace. Jace has got a tremendous, he hasn't received any nerfs recently, but has a tremendous win rate within competitive right now as well. And they've gone for the 6 APC, so that massive range, massive damage on that ult. So they've got some really good picks here on Puddi. They still have quite a few great picks left open.
Yeah, already Puddi with long range poke is the name of the game, and I know that that first strike rune being added to Wild Rift is insane with champions like this. You just farm gold, and the cooldown is much more frequent up on the uptime versus the counterpart in League. As I was playing around with some of the runes in practice tool last night, I was like, wow, this rune seems broken on these types of champions. So already it's going to be up to red team before they even completed their composition. They need to get access to the backline. Thankfully, things like Akali and Vi are going to be just really damn good and reliable for that. So now the question is, what 2 champions can Puddi round this composition up with that helps create a fortress for the Ziggs? The Jace has ways to disengage the fight reliably by himself, and it's not that he can tango melee 1-on-1, but you do want to protect the Ziggs when it goes late game, because he will be your powerhouse damage.
Definitely, yeah. I don't think I've seen a ranked competitive match, without Ziggs going anywhere below 34k damage, but it looks like Volibear has not been banned, and it's looking like that is going to be Puddi's jungle pick, which once again solidifies that big, massive front line with the Rakan as well. Great front line for the entire of Puddi there. Ziggs could pretty much become untouchable within these team fights thanks to Rakan's knock-up, and as well, obviously, Volibear jumping over those walls and doing bits with that health and armor. So it's going to be interesting to see what styles goes for the last pick. They go for the Jarvan 4. Okay. That's interesting. Mid lane Jarvan against the Jace. Normally it's the Garen, but Garen's been banned out. Camille normally goes down to mid lane when it becomes something against the Jace as well. But the Jarvan, that's a new matchup that I haven't seen before. So interested to see that.
Yeah, the solo lane Jarvan, that's like Summoner Series back in the OG days, before Riot was like, okay, we'll officially give you the WNS, title. This was when I want to say like 2021 fall, where we didn't really see Jarvan in the mid lane though, but we saw it a lot in the top lane. Summonary was like a rune back then. You would run with it, or Fleet, and it was Fleet. You would just run super sustain runes and just bypass the lane, poke with your flag, and then I mean, the idea with Jarvan is that you have Cataclysm. That is such an incredible, reliable, engage tool you have for your team. I mean, that is just the name of the game for the red side here in CGG or style. I'm sorry. Hang on. I just lost my screen. I am so sorry. But yeah, red side, tons of engage, tons of reliable ways to get onto the backline here. With Jarvan on your side as well, with the Vi, it is going to be so tough for Gume on this Ziggs to try and survive. You have to depend on your front line to really protect and peel these threats off for you.
Definitely, definitely. And we do see the Jarvan going for the first strike as well, which is very interesting to go against the Jace, because most times out of 10, especially within the laning phase, is definitely not going to be able to proc that first strike because of Jace having not only the close quarter combat mode, he also has that range poke damage as well, which I can see him procting a lot more than the Jarvan, unless Jarvan uses his third ability to movement speed out of the way of those massive poke damage potential from Jace. But yeah, very, very interesting pick in that mid lane. I'm very interested to see how it plays out. And obviously, Jarvan's now got the damage reduction within the Cataclysm now. So that has been brought in from not this patch, but the previous one. So when he is taken out or honing in onto these champions, that damage reduction is going to serve him well within his Cataclysm.
Wait, what? That's a thing?
That's a thing. It is a thing now.
Oh my god! I need to play some more Jarvan. That's incredible. Wait. So, okay, now my mind is racing, but we're not gonna have time for that because with Wild Rift, anything can happen. As already, there's been some aggressive trades on both of these side lanes here. But man, Blam, in between these games, we're gonna have to do some theory crafting because this damage reduction on your ulti, like that, that's almost like Galio ulti, or I guess you would get not necessarily damage reduction, you would get the like there's something. Oh my gosh, the differences in Wild Rift and PC League is always so fascinating, and there's sometimes changes like, damn, I wish they would do this for League, you know, like that. Wild Rift superior game, changed my mind. Anyway, back to you, Plan.
Yeah, no worries. I gotta say, yeah, it busted my brain when I saw that first come through on the patch notes, and it's definitely influenced my jungle pick in my own games. I am definitely going a lot of victories with Jarvan jungle right now. He is definitely on top in terms of my own personal tier list. But yeah, we can talk about Jarvan's changes and LoL PC for quite some time if we weren't actually casting the match. But yeah, we've seen a lot of nasty engages, a lot of nasty poke damage here. The Volibear with a massive engage over the wall. It's a 3-on-2 under the turret. They take first blood. Puddi there very easily because of Volibear just having that massive amount of health, even early game.
You know, Blam, there are massive changes in the game, and there are some things that never change. Like Sentinels, or the archetype of Sentinels roster, diving bottom or dragon lane before 3 minutes into the game, very early on. This seems very classic style of what Molly, Gume, and Ledmon would always do. Starting was also getting a lot of mid priorities. He might just look for another solo kill. Shock blast, ignite.
Oh.
There it is!
Wow, nicely done. Nicely done. Obviously, Jace's kit aided very well there by the first strike and the ignite. We get the Vi going in, forcing the flash into the turret. But 2v1. Once again, that is a return to sender for Puddi there. So nicely done for Styles getting a kill. No longer a no-kill wonder. They are now 1 to 2 kills, which is good, but the goal difference is actually still quite far away from Styles here. It's a good almost 3k difference already 3 minutes into the match.
Yeah, most of it is through that bottom side of the map. In fact, the fact that Ledmon has most of that gold means that he's trying to pay the love over to the side lane as Gume just handles himself beautifully in the 1v2. Got more action on the top side though, Blam.
Okay. Oh, nice job in there, taking out the Camille before she could even use Hextech Ultimatum. The Volibear looking pretty low as well. Rakan there with a life-saving shield, but Jarvan's still in there. Jarvan still happily going to take that 2v1, but they have managed to retreat under the turret. Fortunately for Puddi, so there's a lot of brawls going on. I'm pretty sure I don't envy as a producer right now. I've been in this situation many times when I've been casting and producing my own game. Like there, we didn't actually get to see the Jace kill in the enemy jungle, but well played to start in, going 1v1 against Big Wall, getting the kill.
Yeah, it looked like he was tracking Big Will. Oh, Big Wall. All right. Dyslexia moment. My bad, y'all. Starting with
renamed Big Will.
Yeah, you know, small text on my screen. There we go. But anyway, the fact that Starting was able to track the Vi after the play on the top side, just great presence of minds and awareness. And this is the nice thing about you're going to have about JC. It's just so easy for him to constantly shove these waves in, which gives him so much agency and so much uptime on the map to be able to influence. And right now, it doesn't seem like Styles really respecting that priority and presence from Jace at the moment. They were able to get one kill on him early on, as you already called, but the fact that he has his Serpent's Fang up already to go. A lot of item spikes. Letmon? Uh-oh. Well, you know what? I've seen Ledmont not need flash in worse situations, so, you know, he'll be just fine.
He'll be all good.
Wait, is there a Hex Flash in this game too?
Yes, Hex Flash is new in the game as well.
Let's go! Okay. Right.
Quite a bit to pick apart for yourself, Rafa. You realizing all this within a match, which is it's beautiful, to be fair, mate. But nicely done by Style Esports there, or ZGG. They managed to get the Rift Herald, put it down in the mid lane, not quite managed to finish off the turret yet. Can Shelly do it? Not quite, with not enough damage onto that mid lane turret, unable to take it out. But Startin has done it all by himself in that bot lane, taking the Dragon Lane turret from Style.
Yeah, that's quite huge for the side of Puddi. Anytime you usually get Rift Herald, that's a guaranteed first brick in your book, but they were able to defend the charge and make sure that it did not take out the mid lane tier 1. Starting picking up the bottom side 1 gives them that extra bit of gold. There's still only 3,000 gold above, or it's now about 4,000. It's kind of teetering in that range at the moment. But so far, Style has done their damnedest to try and ensure that the gold lead doesn't snowball, because if that starts happening, even though you have all these tools of reliability and engage, it's going to be so difficult because you're just going to get blown up by the time you make that entry, because your frontliners and the champions that have to dive through all the crowd control and the damage, they're just going to get annihilated before they even connect.
Definitely. I mean, Puddi are giving them a very good run for their money. They are pretty much 5k gold difference here. Puddi just getting these, being able to catch out Style very easily, especially not so much in that instance there with the Akali, but once again here with the Alistar. Alistar's had to die here. He had to bear the burden for Vi and Akali to actually escape, because I feel like the Ziggs, the Volibear, and the Jace would have just completely bypassed that first tier turret and found them in a bush, or made them retreat to a further place up there. Ziggs getting a nice second turret for Puddi, and that is all first tier turrets down for Style, which is not great in terms of that gold that is being given from these turrets, because turret plating has only now just fallen, so they've still been able to get that bonus gold from that turret plating. Bit of a kickoff here going on the red side of the jungle. Alistar taking a lot of damage. Rakan going into the backline onto the Akali there, doing a lot of damage. Jace, Jarvan. Yeah, Jarvan going down there, even though that damage reduction within the Cataclysm is within the game. The Cataclysm just got broken, so there was no damage reduction there, unfortunately, for Mr. Jarvan.
Blam, we just saw a cataclysmic chain of events, and it all started by one play from Style where they looked for a pick on the Starting on the top side of the map. They get answered back by quick rotations with the rest of the team of Puddi, and that snowballed into just continuous pick after pick after pick after pick. It's just the punish of like Puddi saying, hey, you cannot be here, you cannot make this play. And now that you already see with the gold difference, you just get to mollywop everyone that comes your way.
Yeah, that Vi got massively baited into that fight there, because Volibear just went straight over the wall, now racking up a double kill, as well as Jace as well. So we've got Puddi running away into the field with the double kills as well. I mean, just look at the goal difference just alone in the mid lane. So currently, Jace just off the mark with now 10k goal difference compared to the Jarvan that's at 5.8k, which is a drastic amount of gold, especially just a lane alone. It's massive. I'm not too sure what Style can do to bring this match back. I think it's probably just, let's see what we can learn from Puddi's plays this time around and see if we can actually put it into effect into this next match. Because the second dragon is up, I'm pretty sure that Style have got to do something. Yep, they managed to take out the Ziggs. I mean, that could have been fatal for Style because they could have lost their jungler there. Massive amounts of damage for Jace onto the Ezreal. We see Jarvan going in as well. Status nicely. It's going to keep him alive. The Rakan's in there. Double kill over the wall for the Volibear, taking out the Vi, taking out the Ezreal, taking down the Alistar as well. It's going to be a team wipe before Infernal Dragon is up.
Great timing for Puddi. You know what, Gume? Sacrifices must be made for the greater good of this squad, as they invested a lot of resources just to make that pick happen. And because they're still down quite a amount of gold and being overextended in the jungle, and it allows Puddi for a quick rotation in to capitalize on the Styles. I mean, you have to make those plays to try and come back in this game, which I totally respect. It's just such a difficult hill to really make your way over at this point. Usually, when we've seen gold leads like this in the past, we usually start talking about the next game. Or we start thinking about, all right, well, what went wrong in the early game? But the fact that Styles is still showing some spirit means that there's still potentially a game here, but I could not that Puddi does not close this game out.
Ooh, this Akali is just literally, she must have like a 4-leaf clover in a pocket, I swear. Because she's just getting away with so little health every engage. If she's not dead, she's literally running away with a millimeter of health on that bar. Rakan almost nicely taking out the Akali. We do have to point out there, Vi getting the kill on starting. Nicely done. Taking out that big powerhouse that is Jace currently on the style of Puddi. I think that's a good place to start, is maybe take out the Jace. Let's see what we can do with these team fights. But even then, they got the Ziggs. And, Puddi's got these massive amounts of damage. Of health, sorry, on the likes of Volibear and Camille. And the Rakan's still sitting there untouched, which is scary. The fact that he's got Glacial Augment as well when he goes in on these engages with the damage reduction from that, the movement speed decrease on the enemy team. It's a definitely a dream piece of kit onto the Rakan. So I think in terms of the I think this kind of fell apart in the draft, personally. Even though we got some great picks on the side of Style, it definitely doesn't peep the sort of the meta picks like the Jace, the Volibear, the Camille. Even though that one slipped through the net, that was a priority pick, MTS with the Camille. It's not like they've gone massive in terms of the kills on the Camille, but it's been there for utility's sake, for the sake of the team fight as well. Yeah. So even though it was a priority pick, it's not done massive bits, but it has been a massive aid for Puddi.
The Baron being turned up by Puddi just to lure Styles over. Huge fight in the river now as Molly just front lines most of the damage. He actually gets taken out. Cataclysm isolating him from the rest of the squad. And starting to get into the backline here. Oh, Arvoinen, huge knockup here. But it's just the damage overload from Gume. And when he's unchecked, he just unloads with massive fury. Styles goes all the way down, fully ace, and it's back to the Baron for Puddi.
That is crazy. What was looking like a possible okay moment for Style there. I was like, right, okay, let's see what moves we can make now. Just turned into complete ace for Puddi there. They only lost their jungle, but then they started off by taking out the enemy jungle, which was probably the right call, even though they've got squishier champions on the team. Taking out the Vi means that they don't have the smite, and it means they don't have the hone-in ult or the great sort of shield takedown with the Vi as well. But yeah, I think that was a really good callback for the Puddi team here when they went against Style within that matchup, because honestly, I thought we was going to actually see a little bit of a turnaround there, a little bit of give and take, but it was the tiniest sliver of give, and then the rest was just taken away by Puddi, unfortunately.
It's like, we got Molly, guys! We got him! It's like, but at what cost? You know, like we exhausted everything. We've fully committed. There's no way out now.
It was like the Thanos meme.
I am inevitable. Well, you know what's also inevitable, Blam? Puddi closing out this game, being able to disable turrets on Volibear. When that was added to Wild Rift, I already knew that was going to be incredibly damn good. And we saw the repercussions of that as Molly made great use of it in the early game. And Styles, you know,
there we go. They may as well finish off with a kill for Volibear, death from Volibear there. And they wrap up that game easily with that 1-0. But like we've already spoke about within this match, that what went wrong was possibly the draft and definitely that early game lead that Puddi had. I mean, we was at 3 minutes in, they had 3k gold ahead, and then not only that, we were seeing Marley jump over the walls with the Volibears in the 3-on-2 engages under the turrets, getting some massive plays. But rather than us analyze it, we do have Mr. Pierce here with us today to analyze. So what did you take from that match, mate?
Yeah, I think you kind of mentioned it towards the end of the game. I think the draft is a big part. We talked like during the draft, and they had a really strong like potential engage with this like the getting into the backline against like the Ziggs potentially. I think that was kind of a big part of their idea there, with the Vi engage, the Jarvan engage, and the Alistar. And Akali can follow up fairly safely with the Shroud. But what Puddi ended up doing is they just have two of the basically best side laners. So starting, they got Dragon, but they also got first tower on the bot side. MTS bot Hullbreaker, so he wasn't actually there too much for the team fights and stuff. He was there for that constant pressure. And with that Ziggs in the mid lane, you have like such a meta comp. Unlimited wave clear mid. Rakan can do like go wherever he wants, do whatever he wants. Mali's there to follow up, and Jace has excellent damage with like either the Rakan knockup on the side lanes, or MTS has the Hextech ultimatum, and it just spiraled out of control from right after that first dive with the Volibear, and just constant pressure in the side lanes. Not much Styles could do.
I imagine too that with Jace as your mid laner, the Jarvan was like a cool idea, as we mentioned, but if you're constantly losing priority, your mid lane cannot move. Otherwise, you have to start sacking resources and start giving up gold and XP just so you can look for roams as the Jarvan, which, I mean, that is kind of like what they wanted to do, but starting was just so punishing with the presence that he got. That bot lane dive was orchestrated because Molly is able to bully his way through mid lane, bleeding into the jungle. So I imagine that, like, even if you ran the same draft back, excuse me, my voice kind of, I don't know, got weird there. You have to do a better job of protecting the dragon side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, so you mentioned in the draft as well, you were talking about the Jarvan got meta. That was actually MTS who brought the Jarvan to North America.
That's right.
And he ran it with Fleet, as you mentioned too. I think there's a few matchups you can run Airy just to like hard stomp, but most of the time it's Fleet. A lot of the Jarvans in North America are going for this like first strike build where you like get a lot of gold when you press like QE or EQR, you know. But like you cannot, and traditionally Jace into Jarvan should be a good matchup for Jarvan, like a lot of poke and sustain. But since you're not taking that Fleet rune, and I expect that Natty probably didn't go into the green tree. It hasn't quite picked up in North America. We talked about that in the pre-show, but he just fell behind, and then starting is able to rotate down to that bot lane gank, you know, where they dove the tower with the volley, and it just spirals from there. I think the math was there, but like putting the Jarvan mid into the Jace, in reality, it's a lot harder to pull off. And then one more thing on that, Jarvan has a really good early game, but he literally can't clear waves, and he falls off in the mid to late game, which just doubles back on what I talked about with the side lanes, where like Akali and Jarvan will never have priority in the side lanes, and it just makes a hard game even harder when Camille and Jace get to do whatever they want the whole game.
Definitely. I mean, it's not the worst draft we've ever seen, but I think if Styles did that against any other team within the Void series, I think they'd be able to get away with an actual massive stomp. But when it's the likes of Puddi and they've got those meta picks like the Volibear, the Camille, the Jace, the Ziggs as well. I mean, once you got the Ziggs as well as the Rakan with the synergy of the Camille, it's going to be a struggle for pretty much anyone. I think that is a solid team comp, no matter what you go against. So,
I mean, I do like Styles like team comp for team fighting, but MTS and starting just said we're gonna push the side lanes the whole game, create artificial pressure from that, and then we'll show up with more teammates. So your team fight comp just won't work versus us.
Yep, and I mean, especially with that early game lead as well in the gold, we was already seeing a 3k lead in that gold 3 minutes in, so that is already pretty much a net positive 1k gold per minute for Puddi for that match. But yeah, any other takeaways you got there, either of you two?
Okay, go for it. You go first, Piers.
I just want to see like stronger side lanes. I think that like the early game can go one way or the other. I think both teams are good enough to pull through, but we need to make sure we have at least one strong side from our mid or top lane. Akali and Jarvan just aren't strong side characters, so you have nowhere to look to play on the map. And I think that's like if they had something else besides the Jarvan or even something else besides the Akali, just to make sure they could play through something. I think it could have been salvageable even after the gold deficit early. What were you thinking, Rafa?
Well, draft aside, Pierce, I just watched starting stream for like 10 hours straight, no naps in between, get his butt into this lobby and just play a hell of a game on Jace. So you know what, I'm terrified of the form that Josh is in right now. So that
he's demon mode.
He's on demon mode, man. He's crazy. So yeah, I mean, even if the draft is more favorable for the side of Styles, I feel like you're gonna have to pay a lot more respect towards that mid lane going into the next game.
Absolutely. So we'll hand it off to Maisie to hear word from our sponsors.
Hi, thank you. Great analyzing, everyone. Yeah, I just want to tell you guys a little bit about our friends at Budget Arcade Podcast. So we all know that finding a quality free-to-play game can be kind of a daunting task because, like, let's be real, they aren't all Wild Rift. But that's where Budget Arcade is here to help you. So they've done the work of rating and reviewing a ton of free-to-play games to help you find your new favorite and kind of avoid some of the more, like, scammy ones, you know? So make sure to check them out. They are going to be found pretty much anywhere where you can find podcasts. And next we have a little video from our other sponsor, Community Gaming.
Welcome back, guys, to the Void series. I lost my words there. I am running on literally no sleep and a whole day's work. So we are back to cast the potentially the last match of the series for Puddi against Style. I really hope that isn't the case. I really hope that Style managed to clap back a little bit here. It's looking like I'm pretty sure, is it the loser that goes to red or the winner that goes to blue? Am I right in thinking that? Loser gets blue, so we're actually going to see Style on blue side. So let's see what Style do with their priority pick, even though we've always said that the red has been undefeated up until now. At least within a round, it's been defeated. So what were we thinking, Rafa? What are we thinking?
Well, we talked a little bit about it with Pierce, and we had our own conclusions as well. Some of these picks that are super reliable, even as, you know, many years as the Wild Rift has now already been, you know, out. Try to take away things like the Jace and the Camille, just who are harder to take down when it comes to the side lane priority. I don't know if it's going to change up what bans that they have, because it doesn't seem like you need to ban anything away. You can just yoink one of those two solo laners, but it could open up the ban table. So I'm not sure. I mean, if it means like we get to see something like Ornn come through in exchange for something being banned, I mean, I would be down just from like a completely spectator standpoint. But I don't know. I'm just here for the ride. I can't really offer that much as I'm still relearning the game, as it has been a hot minute.
It's absolutely fine. It's more, we're just glad to have you here. We're always glad to have you here. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great to see if that Ornn can actually survive the first 6 bans, shall I say? Sorry. We didn't actually get to see Ornn. No, we did see Ornn last week, I believe. So Kangas was actually graced with the Ornn pick. We just need it for Rafa now, just so he's got the same experience as Kangas. But Kangas did definitely wanted me to give you a message for at the end of the sign off. He says to tell you that Kangas is better than Rafa.
Oh my, this mother. Oh my God. I don't have my censor button. Otherwise I would just start just cursing him left, right, and center. Well, he's a dummy poo-poo head. Family friendly stream, you know. So yeah, and he sucks for ditching me this weekend. Anyway, that's my
I did see the photo. He's in Vegas. I hope he's having a great time. But this is a great time. This is me trying to do a segue on the level of Blazer King, because his segues were absolutely phenomenal last week. But this is a great time to mention that there is a giveaway in the chat. All you need to do is do !jam time, and you have a chance of winning a $10 in PayPal credit. So definitely spam that command, get it in the chat, and potentially walk away with $10 and a new skin at Wild Rift. So that's that. I'm pretty sure we're ready to dive and jive into the draft. So let's go ahead.
Diving and jiving. That's my go-to every day.
It is. You dive onto the dance floor and then you jive on the dance floor.
Hell yeah.
There's a method to the madness. But here we go. We're in the drafts.
Ooh. Blam.
I see.
They looked at that draft that Puddi had, and they're like, you know what? We forgot that Volibear kind of exists. And Molly just had to show him, hey, this bear is pretty freaking scary. So that's going to be the first change in the overall plan and draft for the side of Style. And it does not stop, Blam. The Jace is also taking off.
It is rolling. They're rolling with that last match team comp. Completely going to fill out that ban draft. But I think they'll probably have a little bit of a change towards the end. Maybe we might see the Camille go in that. We might see Puddi actually ban the Camille themselves, thinking that it would switch hands. I think it is. Yep, there we go. There is that Camille ban on the side of Puddi. They ban the Shen again. Both two massive bans, and it's definitely not a champion you want to pass over to the blue side. And there goes the Ornn once again. We are sorry, Rafa. They are not supplying the demand today, unfortunately.
All right, hang on. Quick message. If Zio is in the chat watching, please let Ornn play in your match after this series. I beg you. Just give me an Ornn. Give me an Ornn game. I need to see this champ in action. All right. Fiora also taken off. So what was left available that was banned in the first game? I'm trying to rack my brain around what did Styles take off.
Styles took off. Oh, do you mean like the bans from last match, or
yeah
the Kaiser? They had the Paris as well. Yeah, that's one of them. Kaiser is massive within this tournament. I think it's just an NA thing in general, especially Kaiser in the mid lane, and especially AP Kaiser as well. Saw it a lot in the qualifiers. We don't necessarily see it within EU, so it's definitely one of the flavors of North America coming out here, and it is that Kaiser, and it is always played pretty well. We see that Style go for, actually no, not Style, sorry, Puddi take the Kali pick this time. Oh, that leaves the Gragas open as well. So yeah, Gragas was banned last match.
That's
Gragas
right.
is the big pick. I mean, he has been for pretty much, I'd probably say, most of the esports time within Wild Rift. He is still a massive pick, a massive flex pick as well. He could be in that jungle. He could be as a support also. So we don't quite know yet where that Gragas is going, which is always a good thing to do in the beginning part of the drafts, just to throw off the enemy team.
Now, quick update here. Oh, I love that. Hell yeah, give me some Aatrox, baby. But back to Gragas. Are people playing him full AP these days, or is it still like tanky, just full frontline? Okay.
Yes, very, very tanky. We don't generally see him actually go much AP anyway, but he is definitely there for the full engage. When he belly flops over the wall with his CC. Oh, he gets the Alistair as well.
Come on! Come on! Josh, don't tease me like this. You have Gragas already locked in. Lock it in, coward. Come on. Give us a show. No, you. Oh my God. How dare you? I'm signing off, Blam.
So close.
I gotta check out. I need a message starting right now and be like, if you don't lock in Yasuo in the second round, I'm unsubscribing from your Twitch. My 22-month streak,
everything
out the window. Goodbye. I'm just kidding.
That was a massive upset there, it seems. The Yasuo was hovered for quite some time, but I think it was just for that initial reaction. So I think definitely got what they wanted. They definitely got the reaction that they bargained for. Interesting, we see the Vi ban here. I don't think it'd be one of the things that Puddi would go for themselves. They go for the Ashe and then they ban the Gwen. Gwen had no signs of actually showing up in the last match. Gwen has definitely dropped off between seasons. She used to be one of these priority pick champions, and now all of a sudden she's just not quite where she needs to be within competitive and within these matchups. And the last ban is the Renekton and the Lee Sin.
Both of these bans, for me, say that Styles is pretty much anticipating this Gragas going into the support role, or at least not the jungle. And that's kind of the power of flex picks, where you can always just keep your opponents guessing, because then if they decide to actually put this Gragas in jungle, then it would just throw them for a massive curveball. But Kha'Zix is still on the table, and you know, if it ain't the Lee or the Vi in pro play, then the Kha'Zix always seems to make its way through the rounds at some point.
Yeah, no, Kha'Zix is definitely a great champion. We've definitely seen a big switch up in terms of what the team comp consisted of for Puddi last match. We had those 3 bruisers. We had the Ziggs that could happily chill in the backline, as well as the Jace that could get in if he wanted to, or just chill back with Ziggs and drink a nice cup of char. But this time around, we're seeing the fact that they got 2 assassins, they've got the Gragas, and they've got the Ashe as well, so quite a bit of slow on the team. They've got the CC as well from the Gragas, but then they've got the massive potential of the isolation damage for the Kha'Zix, And then Kali, obviously, massive AP output for Puddi. And then we see the Yone and the Varus come through for Style Esports. So a little bit of difference for themselves once again, but they do have the front line of the Aatrox and the Alistar. But they've also got the help of the Varus, the Kaiser, and the Yone for those, hopefully, potential 1v1 pickoffs. But we're seeing Puddi coming in with the Leona? Okay.
Well,
interesting to see where this Leona goes. It's definitely going to be the support. I'll have to fill you in. So there is a team that does play Leona jungle, and it is pretty impressive within this tournament. I'm pretty sure Kangas actually got to cast that match with me last weekend. So and it went really well. It was a shocking pick, but it's an amazing pick. I heard all about it leading up to that moment, and I was not disappointed. But the Leona definitely falls into that support because we have the Kazakhs in the jungle this time. But yeah, what are you thinking of these drafts?
You know, I'm still mad at starting for baiting us with Yasuo. It was a what could have been, but you know what? Gragas in the mid lane means that he's going full AP more than likely. So I'm okay with that because I love seeing 2-barrel combos, just being able to nuke and one-shot people. The Kai'Sa being flex mid lane, that is now. I know that AP hybrid Kai'Sa is now kind of a thing, and it might be one of the more disgusting things that has entered the Wild Rift competitive landscape in quite some time. However, I just want to say, shout out to Truth. The OGs know. Truth was not only the truth, but also the OG AP Kai'Sa mid lane innovator back in the good old days. So I just want to say Truth was ahead of his time, because now it seems like we are getting Kai'Sa more often in the solo lane setups. I could be wrong. Maybe this is the first time we're seeing an AP Kai'Sa in the mid lane in this tournament. But just from what I've been hearing around the block is that like the AP hybrid Kai'Sa is just like super disgusting now. So it's I'm excited to see that, because it seems like you now have incredible poke from Styles. You also have decent engage from the Yone and the Alistar. And of course, Aatrox, I mean, it seems like Aatrox is just one of those champions where once you get that first item, you start team fighting, he can completely run a rampage on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, you're not wrong. The mid-Kai'Sa AP has pretty much been one of the staple picks throughout this tournament. It's definitely something we see more so here than we do over in the lands of Blam, which is EU. But yeah, like you say about the Aatrox, Aatrox generally a very good champion to have in that jungle. But once again, he's one of those champions, if you don't sort of get that gold lead, or at least that early game lead, if everyone starts building that anti-heal, he definitely sort of falls off towards that point of the game, which is a disappointment. But it is always great to see Aatrox come out in that jungle. We see him quite a bit within the EU, but like you say, the Gragas is definitely going the AP style in that mid lane. He's already gone for AP first item. We'll probably be seeing the Kai'Sa going for something like the Manamune first, and then she will go into probably a Riftmaker, probably the Nash's Tooth. We'll yet to see. But there's been a little bit of a decent engages going on, a little bit of attack going on for the bot lane.
Let's see, the big question here for the side of Puddi is, where does Molly make his first move? We already know that the way he pathed in the first game, played towards that bottom side of the map, trying to make that Dragon Lane dive happen. This time, he's on the top side. He's taking river control as Big Wall is scoping it out, but because he played through the top side off of the MTS's push, he is able to secure the Scuttle Crab, and now he's going to cross. Now we got some action on the bottom side of the map, potentially.
Okay. Alistar looking pretty damaged there from that last little engage from the Leona and the Ashe. Gotta be careful here. Here comes the Aatrox, repaying the favor. There's the pull-in, forcing the flash. We do see the Aatrox go back in. Oh, Leona's so little. And Kha'Zix goes back in with the jump, gets first blood onto the Alistar, and Gragas with a massive barrel taking out the Varus as well. Down goes the Ashe, so it's not a complete waste of trade there for style. They do manage to get the Ash. Can they get the Gragas? Oh, so close. So close.
You can see that Molly was playing to the very edge, almost thinking about going back in. He still had the flash available, so he knew that he could probably snipe in one. Oh, wait, what was that? Was that an
Ash
ulti?
Yes.
Oh my god, Gume with the Ash arrow from downtown.
Absolutely amazing. I love to see an Ash ult from across the map, and it actually lands. There's quite a few times when you don't actually see those land, and you're like, yeah, we saw the potential in the Ash ult, but it didn't quite fathom the way it was meant to go. But I like the way that Gume is using Ash's ability for losing the vision into the enemy jungle. But less about that. We do see that Starting gets picked off there, so well played to Styled.
They were able to capitalize on the fact that Starting did not have flash from the previous skirmish on the bottom side of the map. We have a little bit of a lane swap here. Nadia actually going from the mid lane to now lane with Arvoinen in the bottom side, whereas now Osopanda is taking up the mid lane. And might be that the matchup helps a little bit more. You have the long range piercing arrows to be able to clear the mid wave and not take as much harass damage from the Gragas setup. Hopefully this works out for Styles, as so far the early game has not gone catastrophic for Styles. They're actually somewhat competitive. Puddi is still ahead by just under 1,000 gold, but it's not the monstrous lead that they had last game.
Definitely. I mean, we did kind of see Molly still giving presence in top lane, but also the bot lane. We do see that the Varus goes down there. So was this a miscalculated rotation here from the Kaiser and the Varus? Oh, we just switched to Cam. There is still a little bit more of an engage here. Starting is just saved by Gume with that massive ult and the slow from the Ash arrows onto the Alistar and the Aatrox. So Gume saving lives and shooting arrows from afar is an absolute saver.
Good presence of mind from Gume, just being able to rotate to that play, knowing that once Starting and Lebmon made the dive happen, surely there would have been a response. The dragon is alive for the taking, as huge engage from Arvoinen into the dragon
Everybody
pit.
wants it. Everybody wants it, and blue side gets it. Oh, little bits popping off here. We've currently got a 1-1 trade currently. It's now going to fall to a 2-1 trade for Puddi. So they lose the dragon, but get 2 kills over 1. They are still ahead with the kills. Still not quite that impressive. 3k gold lead, 3 minutes in. They are now only the 2k ahead, if that. And I'm very surprised that nobody went for Rift Herald. I mean, blue side's mid lane turret is looking pretty low. Ice Dragon's not probably the best first dragon to go for. I honestly thought we would have saw Marley go for the Rift Herald, drop that in mid, and secure the first turret of the match.
And it puts Puddi slightly ahead of gold again, as another engage in the mid lane, but Lebmon and Gume are able to just leak their way out of that one. Arrow exchange as well, just to disengage the play even further. Some cooldowns used. The World Ender from Big Wall already expended. So now Molly's trying to see if he can jockey for position here in the river. Arvoinen is the only person that could really face check in this bush and hold position, but looks like Big Wall had to sustain to back off the camps, is now looking for the Rift Herald.
Yeah, not needing to jump out of that Rift Herald camp there. He was definitely forced out of it by Alistar. So TY Alistar for letting his jump still be on cooldown. Much appreciated. They just need to get that last hit to the orb on the back, and blue team steal the second jungle objective.
Nadia is able to seal it away, but the fight is still on Puddi's side, as now you see MTS tracking down the backliners. 3 members taken out for Puddi. I have to say, Blam, it's kind of miraculous that the steal happened in the first place, because otherwise that fight could have just been almost game-changing. As an answer from With Death from downtown, that's the LatAm Tony Stark, baby, and he's coming in with the big plays.
LatAm Tony Stark, I love it.
Do you know the story of the LatAm Tony Stark? I'll have to tell you.
I don't.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you it after this game. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I need to be filled in. I want this esports lore. It needs to be enriched by myself. But yeah, like you said, that Rift Herald interaction there could have gone completely in the favor of Puddi, but they do lose the Rift Herald to blue team. It was a fantastic steal by the Varus, so Oso Panda there getting the steal on the Rift Herald, but then they did lose a 3-1 trade, so kind of Puddi got away with something out of that, but they missed 100% of the jungle objectives first time around. Ash having to use the ult to try and get out of there from the Alistar.
1-for-1 trade between Gume and also Panda. Ledmont and Arvoinen still having their ultimates available. We're not going to have a dragon for quite some time, so at this point, with both of the dragon laners setting up in the mid lane, they're just trying to see when they can rotate and look for picks on both of these side lanes, but neither of the tier 1 turrets have been broken as... nice flash from With Death, but Molly's going to close on in. This looks doomed for With Death, trying to catch Molly under the tower, but quick thinking and sidestepping that fate sealed. There's another fight in the mid lane.
Another fight in the mid lane, and they do get the mid lane turret, so first turret does go to Style. They don't get the first blood. They get 100% of the jungle objectives first round, and they manage to get first turret. So a little bit of trades there, a little bit of minor victories going on for the team. They're definitely in a better footing than they were in the previous match. Akali, however, manages to get that top lane turret also. So there's both of their side lanes missing a turret, which means and opens up the potential for a split push for Puddi when something's going on at a jungle objective like this Mountain Drake in 29 seconds.
Quick stock check-in here, Blam, as well on item spikes. Everyone is at least on 1 items. But big thing to note for, as you already mentioned, one of the greatest counters to Aatrox is just investing some gold into Grievous Wounds. And you already have 2 people. Executioner's calling for Molly and the Oblivion Orb for starting as well. There's a big fight in the mid lane. Oh, With Death's dead! Not quite!
With Death already taken out by the Akali. There was the Chains of Corruption, though. It was probably misplaced onto the Leona because she can take it. She has the power and the health to take that Chains of Corruption and just stand there and still be within the team fight. She does fall, however. It is a 1-1 trade, but with Death going down there pretty early, I think that really changed the pace of that whole team fight.
So far, a 1-1 advantage, but there's still ways for Styles to kind of bully their way in. They have the poke with Varus and Kai'Sa, but it doesn't seem quite safe for Puddi to just immediately book it for the dragon. So everyone is resuming to side waves, with Death picking up this bottom wave so they can look for an angle to approach the river through the tri-bush. But Molly and Starting are already sniffing it out, and they say, with Death, you can't do that. You can't be here, bro. And another pick in the mid lane as well. Oh, this seems to be going the way of Styles, though. Huge knockback from Starting. Well. Oh, Blam, it is just a slaughter in the mid lane. It may multi-knock up from Arvoinen, but it's just delaying the inevitable as Puddi cleans house. That's the ace. That's the dragon, surely, and maybe another tower.
Yeah, that was a massive engage for that mid lane there. I mean, we saw it. There was definitely some sort of calculation going on there on the side of Puddi because we saw that Aatrox was all the way back at red buff. Yes, it's not a massive distance between the Mountain Dragon and the red buff, but he could still have got there. You saw that Molly was very hesitant of getting into that red, but as soon as they started picking off with Death, with the help of Gragas as well, so Starting and Molly getting that kill, 2v1 nicely done. We then saw the Kai'Sa went down, they lost Gume, they did a lot of trade, but then ultimately it went as an ace for the side of Puddi, but we're seeing a little bit more going on here. They have picked off Starting. The Gragas, because we do have that full AP Gragas, is not quite as tanky as he should be, or as we're used to seeing. He's pretty much, he's easily taken out, especially when he's caught there overextending into the lane, but Gume's ult not quite as fancy as that first ult we saw. Marley looking pretty low. Aatrox going in there. Also charging up that first ability there, doing a lot of poke damage onto MTS. Leona and Ash having to stay out of that team fight. Massive double kill there for Big Wall.
This is actually a really good spot for Styles to be in, and I like the call for the Baron, as they're now just pulling more members of Puddi for the Gume is getting locked down. He's got nowhere to run. And suddenly, blam, even though they're down 6,000 gold, they find themselves in a great position to just pick off members one by one. But a huge explosive cast that breaks up the fight. And now Avoidant is separated from the rest of the crew. With Death really doesn't want to get in there until he can find new members.
Nice.
Right onto the back line. Leadbot is going to get taken out by the Soul Unbound damage. And boy, oh boy. I mean, still 5,000 gold down, but they are being competitive with Puddi.
Yep, they're definitely fighting the good fight this time around. I think this Yone pick is definitely something that's really helped them with these prolonging the team fights. We see the Yone go in. We see him then later on disengage. He then re-engage with the Fate Sealed as well. I think this has been played massively within this match, especially when it comes to that massive re-engage. Yes, he's only on 2 kills, 4 deaths, but the 5 assists shows you that the Yone is definitely present within these team fights and is making the difference. Still, however, Kha'Zix is actually almost 1k gold ahead just in the jungle alone. I thought, seeing the Aatrox and seeing how massive he's been doing, I thought we possibly could have been seeing the Aatrox with more gold. But it only looks like that is, yes, I mean, that's the only close lane. Obviously, much closer than last match in terms of the gold difference between lanes. But yeah, the Aatrox in the jungle is definitely the closest thing to catching up the Kha'Zix here.
Yeah, I mean, that fight was massive. But being able to punish MohLIEVERS for overextending and just really patient timing on the exhaust as well, waiting until he was fully committed to the turret, burning the flash. It's like, all right, well, now you've got no escape. Huge shutdown gold going over the big wall. And then as we have now a fight into the jungle, can Puddi clean this one up? Nope,
it doesn't look quite so. Style still sticking in there, doing a lot of damage onto the Leona and the Kha'Zix here. Oh, no, not Kha'Zix, sorry. The Akali, but we see that Gume gets the kill onto Big Wall. That's massive takedown there for Puddi, because that Aatrox, as we know and as we've been seeing, has that massive sustain. Great front line, especially takes a lot of the slack off of the Alistar. And we're seeing that Puddi are still going to go for the Rift Herald, Baron Nashor, sorry. They secure the Baron Nashor. It doesn't get stolen there by the Alistar. But then again, they have the Smite, and Style don't have that Smite, which is the massive difference there. Yone going in for Fate Sealed, but nice status.
The Soul Unbound damage could have been enough to pop Molly, so just great presence of mind for that. Going golden moment there. Baron being picked up by Puddi. Still in the lead, still with the gold lead. And now this game looks to be more on the closing steps for Puddi. It definitely was seeming competitive at the moment, but I think Puddi now starting to realize and giving the respect that Styles did deserve. Not just going for random picks and going for overextended. Now they're actually comboing and coordinating a lot of these fights, making sure that they're all grouped up and using their ultimates on key targets. Now I can see the stark contrast in where Styles seem to be able to look for members, but now it's Puddi that has control of the map.
Yeah, I think that snowball moment from that massive mid-engage, and then not only that, we saw the fight within the blue side jungle, and then we saw the Baron Nashor takedown by Puddi. I think this is ultimately going to be leading to a few inhibitors taken here. I mean, if they can keep off the Baron minions, can we see a little bit longer hold out for Style here? But engage from the Alistar. Thinking for a re-engage. It's a little bit messy here for Style. They did play this match a lot better than the first, due to obviously being able to ban out 3 of the massive draft picks for Puddi, which was the Jace, the Camille, and actually they didn't ban out the Camille, they banned out the Volibear. But yeah, it seems like it's a lot better played for Style here, but not quite taking a victory from Puddi yet.
You can see that Styles were trying to see, like, oh, maybe they want to fight for red buff. But he's like, no, we don't want to. It's throw out the Ash Arrow, throw out the explosive cast. Oh, we're getting the hell out of that one. I just wanted to take our leave. I don't even know if Puddi was able to walk away with the red buff. I don't think it really matters to them. And it just making sure that they did not get caught overextended, because that is kind of just your hope as Styles, is trying to see if you can catch Puddi being complacent again and seeing how much gold you can get back. Because if I'm not mistaken, this Wild Rift has now introduced the bounty system, or catch up with gold. Now, I don't know how you can see it on the spectator client, but I know it's possible. I know it's there. I don't know how to see it. Oh, the gold outline. Okay. There we go. Nice.
Oh, okay. Massive engage in the mid lane of Odeon, getting caught out there. So Alistair goes down, which is massive for Styles, is to keep alive within this team fight. They're looking to take out the Aatrox. Aatrox is already pretty low. Oh, okay. Oso Panda getting the kill onto MohLIE there. So MohLIE goes down. It is a 2-1 trade currently in that mid lane. Not quite having the minion wave with them at the inhibitor, so I don't think the inhibitor is going to fall just yet. But Mr. Elder Dragon there, or Mrs. Elder Dragon, is now up, and they're going to go for it. They're making it priority. They have 2 dragons. The Elder Dragon is just going to be the cherry on top here for Puddi.
Yeah, they got to be careful. They can't really start the dragon. They're using it to bait him over, because they know that MohLIE is being down. They don't have smite, and now they might just catch up some members here. With Death is already fully extended. The stasis being popped. Big Wall's got nowhere else to run as Lemon locks him down. He walks out, but that is the cost of With Death's life, as now Big Wall being forced out of the own jungle. MohLIE coming up in just 3 seconds means that it should be safe for Puddi to start up this dragon and actually secure it.
Yeah, he's got the teleport coming in here as well, so I think that was a massive last-minute purchase there for MohLIE to get into this Elder Dragon fight, to secure it, hopefully, for them. They don't want to see another steal. That would probably be a massive upset for Puddi here. They do manage to take out the Leona. They are still fighting for the Elder Dragon, and Gragas managed to secure it for his team. So no smite needed there. We see a double kill for the Kazakhs. He was taken away from the objective, but Gragas managing to still secure it with the barrel. So well played to Puddi. They have the Elder Dragon. They're going for the Baron. They want the perfect end.
Want to take everything here, Blam. Being up 11,000 gold, not enough for Puddi. They gotta take everything away from Styles. As Gumi is now going to just throw out an arrow, see if it connects on With Death, as it looks like he and Starting are engaged in mortal combat. But Starting nowhere close to dying, whereas With Death has to limp away back to the base. And now Puddi are in the final steps of this game, where I have Starting and MTS on both on the side lane duties, sending the duo dragon laners into the mid lane, and they can get that 3 simultaneous push into the rest of the base.
Yeah, definitely. We've got possibly starting here, getting picked off on a 3v1. Nice Ash ult there, but it landed onto the Alistair, but it does allow the Kazakhs and the Akali to push that top lane. Inhibitor goes down, so this is a massive push here for Puddi currently. They're at the Nexus. They were in the base. Leona is leading a second wave of minions down in the bot wave as well. The mid inhibitor goes down also, so it's pretty much a triple sweep for the inhibitors, and the Nexus is looking like the next target. And it's possibly the end. Can they finish it here? Yes, they can. And Puddi take a 2-0 from Style. Well played.
Dominant stuff from Puddi. Want to give credit to Styles where it's due. A little hiccups in the mid game from Puddi. Gave them a window to punish. They did so beautifully. Big Wall having some massive team fighting power in some of those fights, where once MohLIE was taken out and there wasn't a constant applier of grievous wounds toward the Aatrox, you saw how fearsome he could be. With Death and Arvoinen also getting some nice pickups as well with those engages. Unfortunately for them, it was not enough, Blam, as it came down to, once again, just trying to think back. This game felt slightly longer, but it did. You know what? Why am I trying to analyze the game, Blam? We have someone dedicated for that. We should bring them in.
Hey,
let's bring in Pierce.
Good to be back here on the table with you guys. I think that what you're thinking about is like traditionally, like when you used to see Sentinels and stuff, and like Putty Putty now, they have a really clean first objective phase, and if we were able to get a time machine and look back, we would have saw that. We would have seen that. They were looking to start the Herald on that first objective, and then something changed, and they wanted to contest the Dragon. So they didn't have the positioning that they usually have on an objective. So they go for a 50-50, and it's a 50-50 no matter what, So Mali's a great jungler, but at the end of the day, like he can't steal everything. So the gold lead they had going into the first objective started to fade. They kept the gold lead, I think close to 3,000, but they lose the second Herald too, and I wonder how many times they've ever lost both objectives before. So that really halts that forward march that you'll see. I believe you'll see from Puddy Puddy throughout this tournament, and really slowed the pace of the game down. I really don't know why they contested that dragon. I think the game could have been so much easier. Very, very weird from them. Other than that, we had the rest of the objectives. You can see Putty Putty though doing the correct thing. They're always first, and that's why the game did end up closing out so smoothly. Aside from one or two picks in the side lane, I think they got a little bit of hubris. I think we saw it in the first game. They reared it back a little bit. But we see dashes of hubris from Putty Putty, and the better they do end up winning. But I think they can look back and find quite a few things that are just greedy. Very unnecessary in a competitive match. Overall, though, I was really happy to see that game. I think the double ADC was pretty decent with the front line they had for Styles. Much better composition from Styles. Yeah, all around great gameplay here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely was. We definitely saw a better Styles, like Pierce just said there. Arvonia sticking with the Alistair pick, and that support pick seems to suit them very well. I mean, he got the SVP this time around. I felt like the Nadi on the Kaiser and the AP mid lane there was a little bit understated. We saw towards the end. Nothing great came out of it, but I think it's because of the likes of the not only did they have the Kazakhs and the Akali, they also had the massive stun potential from the likes of the Gragas, the Arrow from Ashe, the Slow from Ashe, but then also the Leona. So if Leona can connect that Zenith Blade onto one of these squishy champions, it pretty much just negates anything of their potential. So I think it's just a bit of unfortunateness from the side of Style.
Oh, something that's changed since you've seen Rafa, by the way, is something very important now that Mali did for the Elder Dragon is in the past you could just buy TP during icons. You could just buy TP whenever and there's no cooldown, right?
Yeah.
Now you get a 20% cooldown when you purchase a boot enchant. So you immediately have to buy teleport now. It's not like, oh, should I buy teleport like right as you're rezzing? It's like, as a pro player now, as soon as you die, you buy TP, like in those late game scenarios.
Oh, so you need to have the foresight that you're going to need TP.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's almost like a reaction. I mean, it's very important in your ranked games too, as a jungler, like you need to like not watch the team fight. You need to buy your TP because it's a 34-second cooldown. So, late game you have about, anywhere between 35 to 47, I think, as late as it goes. So, you have 10 seconds to buy your TP. It's like plenty of time, but it doesn't need to be done right away. So that way their Elder Dragon play went so smoothly, they baited that out. And then Mali just TPs in and they finish it off really quick.
Yeah. That's good to know, because it not just for teleport, but like any enchantment, like if you ran like, stasis as your enchantment for a primary part of the game, and then you realize, oh, I actually need QSS because I'm just getting stun locked for days and I just need to cleanse this one spell so I can dash out or something, then if you die, you can't like you said, you can't wait until you spawn before you make that swap. You need to make sure that you're buying it right away so that by the time you get back onto the map and you deploy, then that cooldown is up. Overall, though, Puddi, just like you guys said, just they kind of fucked around until they found out with the first objective set up. I'm gonna cash in my 1 F-bomb of the stream. Sorry, administrators. I'm gonna tip my $5 into the fine jar right now, you know. But I think it's appropriate because, like you all said, that was what put Puddi on the back foot. And even though it wasn't a true back foot because they still weren't behind in gold, characteristically, that's what it felt like for us as, you know, longtime viewers of most of these guys, you know, on the same squad.
Yeah, they showed they're immortal, and honestly, that's great as a viewer perspective, you know. So I think we have a lot of great matches as we get into, you know, we have the rest of the quarters, but semifinals and the finals, I think it's maybe it's gonna be a little closer than people thought. So I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. So we're not going to have an ad break this time, guys. We are going to go into an intermission before we get into the MohLIEVERS against the Boba Luvers. So that is our next best of 3 series. Hopefully we can actually finally get a best of 3. But something about good old Nostradamus Blam thinks it's going to be another 2-0, but I hope I'm proven wrong. So we'll catch you guys after this short intermission. See you in a bit.
In ruins to the echoes of pain. These are good, these are good. Cold and empty, lifeless remains. These are good, these are good. Fields of the fallen and blood washed in rain. This cannot be all that will be. So you have torn this world apart. You came for our suffering. So we'll bleed, cut us deep, find the depths that you see. Just remember. So bleed, crush deep, find the death that you see. Just remember. Just remember. We retreat, but we won't. Those that die unforgot. Just remember.
I declare war on anybody standing in the way of what I dream for. How could you ignore the ones that are voiceless, scream from the poor? They only here to score. I do it for the underground kings that don't need more. I'm kicking down your door. If I wonder why you got a pocket full of green for, it's all about the get back. It's hard to give back while the politicians kick back. They say I'm only brick rap. Well, that's the foundation of this mountain that I live at. I can get you kidnapped. These kids ain't playing with you, acting like you live rap. And all those little mishaps that only happen to you misfits, I'm here to fix that, yeah.
Time to dig up your grave, make you lower your voice. I told you not to play with the misfit toys. We got in this game, getting sick of your noise. You started with a bag, but you misfit.
Rich get richer while the poor pickpocket. Swipe smacks well till the cops come knocking. Have or have not, being broke is not an option. Time after time when you gotta think for watches. When you the plug in the socket, and the powers that be can't stop it. So obnoxious, borderline toxic. Both sides go to war like a mosh pit. Now let me switch up the optics. Our neighborhoods held us hostage. Some nights we slept in our closets. Gunfights was outside the projects. So you can't blame me for nonsense. I'm here to collect deposits. All else defies the logic. My people need me beside them now.
Time to dig up your grave, make you lower your voice. I told you not to play with the misfit toys. We got in this game, getting sick of your noise. You started with a bag, but you misfit toys.
Don't play with the misfits. Come play with the misfits. Don't play with the misfits. Come and play with the misfits. I told you don't play with the misfits. Must be deaf, dumb, and blind, you a triplet. Don't you make me erase your existence. All by my lonely, need no assistance. Any disrespect gets met with the vengeance. Burn down gossip and hidden agendas. We set the tone for all to remember. You rewrite history, the greatest pretenders. You rewrite history, the greatest pretenders.
Time to dig up your grave, make you lower your voice. I told you not to play with the misfit toys. We got in this game, getting sick of your noise. You started with a bag, but you misfit toys.
Don't play with the misfits. Come play with the misfits.
You started with a bag, but you misfit toys.
I'm alone, only know myself no more. Take it to the grave, I'll ghost. I know I can be so cold. In the dark, where I like to keep my heart. No more bite, no bark. Like to catch you way off guard. I'll stay so deep inside your brain and take you somewhere far away. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die. Type to make you cry, type far away. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die, type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head, do just what I said. I'm a straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling, straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. But I'm dead, you know what's up in your head, watch it fill you full of dread till you go. Bang, bang, you can do anything, no fear, no pain. Listen to your brain, go stupid, go dumb, go stupid, and then we go insane. Whoa. Just do what I say, follow me, I like the way. Time to roll the dice, you know I'm the type to risk my life, not afraid to die, type to make you cry, type to put a price all up on your head, do just what I said. I'm straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling, straight up villain, yeah, no feeling, yeah, no feeling. Life, but I'm dead, my voice up in your head, watch it fill you full of dread till you go.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Void series. We've just had a phenomenal banger of a 2-0, unfortunately, for Styles, ZGG Styles, but forever will be called Styles Esports to me, because that one just runs a little bit better off of my motor mouth tongue. But yeah, fair play to Puddi for going 2-0. They definitely deserved that victory, especially from that first match. Absolutely crazy performance from them. But now we are getting into MohLIEVERS versus Boba Lovers. Because I didn't really take much participation in Qualifiers 2, Boba Lovers are quite fresh in my mind, but MohLIEVERS are definitely not. They were fantastic to watch in Qualifier 1. So I'm happy to see them once again. So yeah, it's going to be another good match. I don't know if it'll be the same caliber as last match, but it's still going to be another good match. Any thoughts?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see, Blam. Like yourself, I'm not familiar with the Boba Lovers squad. I'm trying to get a glance of the names here on the Boba Lovers side, and I'm racking my brain to see if like anywhere in the Summoner series, the Rift Masters games, even some of the Verizon Collegiate December games that we had like 2 years ago, and nothing is coming to my mind. Oh, Ken is the only name that seems familiar, but I would not be surprised if this is my first time watching it. However, when we look on the flip side, Blue Team, there's one name that I know definitely for sure, and that is Mr. Dienzio. And I was lurking in his YouTube stream a few days ago. He has no idea. But I was just watching him play some solo queue, and it's always a good time. I miss talking to this guy. Best of luck to him in this best of 3. I also recognized Hitman as well. He was someone that played a lot on a few teams in the Summoner series. I'm trying to remember what teams he was on for WNS. I feel like Hitman was I think I remember him being a Baron laner for teams like OG Brawl Stars back in the day. Man, I'm just racking the old memory storage capacity here. I actually have Good Game GGXD on my friend list. I'm just looking now, and I'm like, okay, well, who's this guy then? Who? I don't know if either you or Pierce know what the alternate ID. Oh, that's Cosmic. Oh, it's Cosmic Soul. Okay. Let's go. All right. Well, Cosmic Dienzio Hitman. It's good to see these guys again, and I think we're getting into draft phase, Blam. So you can cut me off now. I'm just ranting like an old man.
Never want to cut you off. I'm still waiting for the Tony Stark story, so I'll wait for that one.
You're right. I'm so sorry. That's another fine. Hang on. Look, stream.
Get the money out. Pay up.
Another 5 right here into the fine jar. Boom. Here we go.
Anyway, we are getting onto the ban drafts currently. We're getting a Yuumi priority ban here from MohLIEVERS, which is a strange one, but the Varus is a little bit more coordinating. The Lulu, we're going for some support enchanted for MohLIEVERS, it seems.
Another update. Pierce informed me that American is actually Jackie, so it's the boys. It is the Gremlin squad. As back, I'm trying to think. Most of this team was, I guess, old Enemy or previous iterations of Enemy back in the day. There's another name that they had during like Rift Masters last fall as well. But as you called out, Blam, a lot of Enchanter support bans. I'm not sure if that is a meta thing. This feels personal. This either feels personal or it feels like, yeah, we don't care what Boba Lovers is going to play. We're just going to ban out 3 Enchanter supports and call it a day.
Yeah, I felt like that Soraka ban was for Shay in the chat. Rank 1 EU Soraka in the chat. I feel like that one was for her. But yeah, the Volibear, the Zed, the Varus seems a little bit more on brand here for esports. But yeah, the Yuumi, the Lulu, and the Soraka was a little bit different. But they go for the Kaiser. We're seeing that Kaiser ban Kaiser pick, come out once again. For the second time today. It was banned in the first match, played in the second, and now we're getting it played once again in the third.
We'll see if MohLIEVERS can have more success with Kaisa in this match than Styles was able to get in there. Oh, a Seraphine lock-in. Oh, this is exciting. Is that meta? Or is that a thing that this team does? You know what? We're getting some updates from Pierce in our chat. Apparently, Boba Lovers played Yuumi in both their wins last week. So that just might be a playstyle that they're very comfortable with around Enchanters.
Yeah, possibly. Very much possibly so. I mean, Yuumi, especially if they got the Yuumi with the Kaiser as well, that'd be a great little combination going on there. But the Seraphine, I'll be interested to see if that's actually going to be support Seraphine or if the APC Seraphine has made its way over the waters from EU to NA. Will be very interesting. We've seen quite a few players play the Seraphine very well. There we go. The Orn comes out to play.
The prayers have been answered. The call of the Forge God has been sounded, and Orn is on the Rift. I'm so excited. I'm so hyped. And we have a sign on the other side. Okay. This means we have a tank-on-tank matchup. I never thought I was going to see this day in Wild Rift. I felt like that day would have never come. Like at the most, you probably have like a Garen Darius match. It was like, oh yeah, these are 2 tanks. Like they still do bruiser damage and they still bruiser things. But this is the first time I think I've seen in Wild Rift competitive. I haven't seen every single game, by the way. So you know, but from my history, this is the first time I've seen a legitimate tank versus tank in the Baron lane. That is groundbreaking, Blam.
It is, and you are very excited for that Orn pick, and I'm very glad that we finally actually got a match in here. And I mean, you did say it, you did manifest it in the last series, talking to Dienzio in the chat, asking for that Orn pick to come out. Anyway, but yeah, we got the Scion, we got the Orn. Orn possibly could be right now flex pick between the top lane or support. We do see Ornn generally sometime go in that support role as well. So we will wait and see where the final sittings is going to be for that Ornn. But we're getting Sion in at the Baron lane. Actually, Nunu we don't see very often. I think that's a pick for Weewoo, another caster within the NA there. A favorite pick for him, possibly.
Oh, hell yeah.
Also a big pick for, could be a big pick for Boba Lovers, because I haven't really covered them much. But yeah, the Gragas comes through, the Kassadin as well. Interesting ban. And then we get the likes of the Zeri and the Vayne ban also. So.
Oh, I forgot they added Zeri to this game too. Damn, that's... Wow, there's a lot of champs have been caught up now in this game. The misfortune, though, is going to be the AD carry of choice for Boba Lovers. So now, Blam, if that means we have a misfortune, does that mean that Seraphine is designated support, or is there still a possibility for a mid lane Seraphine?
I mean, there's still a potential for a mid lane Seraphine. It is definitely riding on that last pick. I mean, they've got 2 tanks there, so technically it could be that Seraphine support. There you go. Yes! You get Yasuo and your Ornn pick in one match. Basically your second birthday.
This is better than my birthday, dude. Like, this is like Christmas and Thanksgiving and Happy New Year's all put in one. Oh my god, this is incredible. MohLIEVERS, I don't know if they went into the match and this is just how they play, or if this is just like a welcome gift. This is incredible. They have 4 sources of knockups, including the Yasuo. So there is no reason whoever is piloting the Yasuo should not be able to press his ultimate button. Like, if I ever see Last Breath not being casted, something has gone horribly wrong this game. But I don't think that'll be the case. And for the last lock-in, we get the Vladimir. And I've been hearing rumblings about how powerful and how insanely terrifying this champion can be after a couple items.
Yeah, he recently got a nerf in the previous patch 4.3c, but he's still generally,
Probably
if you are very good with the champion, yeah, it was deserved, but he still definitely has potential. I mean, I've played against him quite a few times in ranked, not really seen much in competitive, but he definitely still has potential. I don't think the nerf really stopped him too much. But against the Yasuo, it's going to be really interesting to see this Vladimir go 1v1 against Yasuo. The Seraphine is going to be the support here for Misfortune. But yeah, there's a lot of AP output on the side of Boba. They've got at least 3 out of 5 there. And then on the side of MohLIEVERS, the only real AP they could possibly get there is the Kaiser.
Does mean that the damage profile is pretty balanced for MohLIEVERS, whereas, as you already called out, since it's a lot of magic damage coming through from Boba Lovers, I imagine that Mertreads, or maybe not Mertreads, but some type of magic resist item is going to be the way to go after getting core items unlocked for the side of MohLIEVERS, if it is an even game. Of course, if there's a snowball happening, you probably won't care that much. You just kind of, mollywop them with the wallet diff, and then you just call it a day afterwards. But man, we're on the Rift. We even have a Lee Sin game, which Filet-O-Fish Pierce has also informed me is Tony the Jungle, which I remember that name as well. So this is it's so nice seeing old faces in new places. That was not intentional, but it just kind of happened in the moment of the rhyme scheme. So, here we are. Lamb, this is a good freaking day, man. I'm happy to be here.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. It's also a nostalgia trip, but it's also nice to know that these players have stuck around even through, obviously, Riot's decision to not continue with the support as much as they did. But like you said as well, in our previous intermission, the grassroots movements is kind of what's needed to sort of big this up off the ground. And there's definitely the hype there. There's definitely the demand there for it, as we all love this game. But yeah, I'm really interested to see what these teams can do with these team comps. Luckily, that Honeydew Fruit was actually already dropped there for Vladimir. Already could have been an easy first blood here for MohLIEVERS in that mid lane. Oh, he's still going for it. He's still committing. We're missing it out. Oh, nicely done. we actually see Celestial outplay
And Cosmic having
there
a
in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think Cosmic had a Icarus moment where he just flew a little too close to the sun on that one in between two towers. And even though Ken was not in a position to help, the Cosmic just underestimating how much damage Celestial was able to get out. Both summoner spells were burned. And I think probably what happened is once the Ghost was popped, the movement speed was too much for Cosmic to keep up with. And he did not want to commit the flash to get the first blood. Just wanted to maintain that summoner spell advantage. But that is an extra bit of gold going into Vladimir's pocket, as now Ken, he has opportunity to go looking on the dragon side of the map, but Cosmic taking this time to bully him out, and that will protect the spot lane from a potential dive.
Definitely. We see that the support and the ADC both go for first strike ruin down in that bot lane as well, which is extremely interesting for the Seraphine here. Not your particular ruin for a support pick, but I'm sure Boba Lovers will make this work. Nunu engage is massive. Hitman goes down to Nunu as well. So Boba Lovers actually getting a little bit of leeway here.
Yeah, both summoner spells off of Nevermind to make it happen, but they did get Dienzio's summoner spells engaged as another dive. They're able to get the kill on Dienzio, but Filet-O-Fish is here with the answer, already using the Dragon's Rage to get massive damage. Cosmic Skull is here to back him up as well. Last Breath is still available, but no knockups ready, forcing Ken's flash as he gets out.
Do you feel like those first 3 kills that Boba Lover got was a little bit of a warming gift here for MohLIEVERS, because we just saw the savageness of Lee Sin and Yasuo just go down into that dual lane and get a 2 kills easily back up for themselves. It seems that way to be anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to show that we're in for a spicy game 1 where neither team is really running away with the lead. At the moment, MohLIEVERS are the ones with the gold advantage, but we already know that MohLIEVERS are getting ready to answer on back. Still a couple minutes before the first dragon spawns, as well as the Rift Herald. We're gonna have to see where priorities lie, as Filet-O-Fish is ready to make a dive happen.
Okay, yep, he's in there. He takes out the Seraphine. Misfortune is on a 3v1. She gets the ult and kills the Alistar. Nicely done. It was driving away Dienzio and Tony Jungler there. Can we see the Yasuo go down as well? Nunu committed.
A
little bit too. Oh! What a close trade. Amazing.
Ken, quick thinking to pop the ultimate for the extra shield. Otherwise, that looks like Cosmic is going to get the outplay and no answer on back. But just having to exhaust that extra bit of damage and then getting popped by the absolute zero. Now, Filet-O-Fish is making his way towards the top side of the map, where between the two Baron laners, listen, this is what you get with takes on tanks. It's just noodles slapping each other, stacking up those grass procs. But you know what? Once these guys are unleashed from the shackles of the island of Baron Lane, we get to see them fight in 5-on-5s. That's when things are gonna get super damn exciting. Oh, wait a minute. All in. The damage.
Here we go. Oh,
barrier.
He goes in with the flame breath.
Yeah.
And the turret gets him. Is Sion going to come back with this second wave? It looks like he isn't. We see that the Ornn managed to get the distance apart from that Sion there, but I was going to make a little offhand comment there that it was kind of like two toddlers just slapping each other in that Baron lane, but we finally got some sort of conflict resolution towards the end there from Ornn getting the kill. So fair play to Jackie in that top lane, getting first blood for the Baron lane. And we see blue team get the Rift Herald. They're going to drop it in the mid and make their way down to this dragon to contest it.
Oh, nice Seraphine ulti engaged, though. Never mind, has put Dienzio in a bad spot. He doesn't want to be able to follow up the damage, and Ken is now chasing him down. Dienzio, quick killer instinct for the shield, the absolute zero for the slow. Ken finally gets it. Just the last bit of damage on the back end. Unfortunately for Dienzio, still goes down. The dragon being picked up by the side of Boba Lovers in exchange for that Rift Herald play. They already used it to crash mid lane, maybe looking for Born.
Yeah, definitely. They managed to get to that second tier turret for Shelly there. So Shelly going the whole distance to get into that second tier turret. Fair play to MohLIEVERS. Still behind 1 kill, but they are definitely catching up in that goal. They are literally 100, if not just a K. I think it's just about 800 gold difference there that they've got, but it is slowly creeping out of their control. And I think that's something Boba Lovers has currently got, but they need to hold on to it. They need to make it a little bit bigger. We see that Cosmic going in onto Celestial here. Nice Sanguine pull.
Oh, the flash kill! Oh, it's not enough damage! Oh, and Cosmic has overextended himself, Blam. Oh, this is tragic.
Unlucky. Unlucky there. I felt like that was a bit of a bait for the Vladimir there. And it definitely fell through. The Lee Sin coming in here as well. Nice ult in the bush, but it's not going to be enough. The Seraphine goes down already. We see Alistair with the Lee Sin, with the Kaiser, going to 3v1 under the turret here. But now Vladimir is back to save the Nunu.
Oh, Jackie, don't do him like that again. Oh, Fim is getting close to being... popped once again, already forced to burn. The trade of combat summoner spells, man, I love that both of the Baron lane tanks took combat summoner spells. I mean, you had that luxury in Wild Rift since teleport is not a summoner spell. I'm so league pilled at the moment, and just seeing Ornn and Sion with like Ignite Exhaust is just probably one of the more exciting things I've seen in a while. So, but the catch up on that bottom side of the map, you saw that Ken, knowing the collapse was happening, tried to go for that preemptive absolute zero. Great minds think alike. Unfortunately, Filet-O-Fish, also in that same wave, instantly dashes in with a safeguard, interrupts him with the Dragon's Rage. And the only saving grace for Ken is that he is incredibly tanky, and he has a lot of this gold, so he's hard to take down. Unfortunately, he doesn't have that much damage, so he's not necessarily in a 1v9 state of the game. This Cosmic on the bottom side with the NTO.
Cosmic, oh, Seraphine getting absolutely denied of that ult there. The knockup once again, airborne in the Nunu, so he could take him. He was derailed with his snowball there, back down into the bot lane. Vladimir and Nunu currently looking at a 3v2 situation. They are trying their best to keep it alive, but that Kaiser damage is hitting different onto the Nunu currently, and we see the stun as well. But
gotta be careful about that Vladimir, though.
Yeah, he's just literally taking health.
Filet-O-Fish now wants to tango with him in the jungle, but the Seraphine is there, and the Encore wraps him on up. Filet just might be caught out here, going down to Celestial. Wind Wall is not going to save him this time around.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Lee Sin. He did get caught out in the enemy jungle there, thanks to the Seraphine. I mean, the ult got denied originally down in the bot lane because she died just before she could use it, but I think it might have served them a little bit more purpose there onto the Lee Sin. But that Ornn ult, not quite massive, only getting the knockup from the Misfortune. Alistair getting rinsed here. There's the Collector being used on Misfortune there as well, getting that 9999 damage. 999.
Good old
Finishing
Collector.
Off that tank.
The day I found out the Collector got added to Wild Rift, I was like, oh man. Assassins, and if there's any marksman champion that can abuse it well, are just gonna run amok, because this item, when you're snowballed and you already have this kind of a lead, it just feels so oppressive, because then you...
Yes.
The long range you have capabilities on Misfortune, you can just completely deny someone from being able to set up for a play, which is exactly what they're doing right now. Misfortune ult ready on the deck as they're setting up for this dragon and just waiting with patience in this river.
Yep, patience is key here, but we saw that Ornn definitely predicted that they were in that bush, but Ornn gets taken out there, so Jackie down already early into the team fight interaction. They are at a handicap now, but we have the Lee Sin and the Yasuo in there. They're focusing. Oh, Ken taken out. Cosmic there. Dienzio goes down to the Misfortune also. That's a massive trade there for Boba Lovers. Can they get the Infernal Drake as well?
I don't think Filet-O-Fish is going to be tangoing with the Smite Steal at all. You are not only just playing a 50-50, it's against the Nunu, so it never really does feel like a true 50-50 in the first place. I don't remember how much true damage you get on max strength with Consume and Wild Rift version, but between Smite so it's hard. It's hard to make that happen in the first place, and you're already seeing just really intelligent and incredible ways of setting up from Boba Lovers, where they're getting to the river first, they're setting up vision control, and then it forces even the tankiest members of MohLIEVERS to face check. And unfortunately for Jackie, even though he is a big beefy Ornn, he still could not withstand all 5 members blowing their entire load onto that riverside, and it just made it super hard for the rest of MohLIEVERS to find a second engage.
Yep, we see that the Scion managed to keep that Baron lane turret alive. Have we got? Yes, we have got equal turrets there, so both teams even Stevens in the turret game. They both have a bit of skin within that. Once again, back to the slap and tickle in the Baron lane from the Ornn and the Scion at the moment. But in fact, I'm really surprised at Boba Lovers. Like I said, I didn't cover them much within the qualifiers due to being tied up with Rift Legends in the EU. But I'm really excited. I'm really hopeful for them. They seem to be doing okay in this match. They are ahead in gold, ahead in kills, and they have 2 dragons. If they get a third, it could be troublesome for MohLIEVERS.
Yeah. The gold disparity is not super high, so it's not like MohLIEVERS are out of the game, but as you called it, to both of the dragons powerful buffs on the side of Boba Lovers, and it seems like their objective setup has been really clean both times. So this just goes to show that MohLIEVERS, they're going to have to really not only just dig deep, but also they're going to have to tighten things up in terms of execution, because I got super hype off the fillet of fish kick into Cosmic's first wombo, but you just saw that the damage required to really cut through the front line is just not there at the moment. Dienzio has been put far behind after the early game, as maybe disengage.
Oh,
that's a lot of damage.
It's a lot of damage, but both Seraphine's ult and Misfortune's ult have been exhausted there. Lee Sin is still alive. Pretty much all of MohLIEVERS is still alive here. It could still be a massive interaction for MohLIEVERS. This could be the tipping point for them. But it looks like there's going to be a fight centered around this Baron Nashor, whether it's going to be bait for Baron Nashor or they're going to try and take a team fight here and get a net positive in either of these teams' favor. More so, I would see going for Boba right now. But I wouldn't be surprised if MohLIEVERS can actually turn around and get a great engage here.
Dragon straight for fillet of fish, kicks the Scion away. As now the damage from Happy forces fillet of fish out, and just massive circles of death right now. Misfortune Ultimate cutting through the ranks of all of MohLIEVERS. Huge knockup, the huge engage, the encore is just massive, and it's a nice response with the call of the Forge God. But my, oh my. Wow. That was insane from Boba Lovers. You just saw all the CC stacking on top of each other.
Yeah, massive engage from that Scion knock-up there. We saw pretty much everything come through. Honestly thought with that Ornn knock-up that we were going to see something go on there, but that was a great kick from Fillet of Fish onto the enemy team, but they still have the jungler up. Okay, triple kill. Who's going to get the Nashor? Oh, who got it? Who got it? Is it Blue? Oh, wow.
Oh, Ken got it. Oh, it's so close.
What? Yep. Oh, my days. Okay, Cosmic. Double kill for Cosmic. Triple kill for Lee Sin. And Scion is just getting taken down there. So they did get the Baron Nashor, but all the team are dead. They're still going to have the buff when they get back up. But I think this is a tragic part to be had.
That was a miracle fight for the side of MohLIEVERS, and unfortunate for Boba Lovers because they had a clean fight on the top side. Why not start the Baron? The Filet of Fish never went down in that first fight. He got a chance to recall, came right back up. What a kick to really just break up the ranks and knock out all the squishies, being able to fight 3 before just being left with the tanky frontliners of Ken and Fim. And even though Filet of Fish was not able to secure what I saw as a penta in the making because he did not have the health and the resources to survive, it was still good enough to pretty much knock the Baron buff off of every single member, get the Dragon off the reset, and now this has evened up the odds here.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, they still have the Baron buff, a little bit of a change there, so even if they die, they still get it. But,
oh, wait, what?
Yeah. Even if they still die, they still get it. It's just a reduced timer here for the Baron Nashor. But yeah, they've still got it. They're still trying to do something with it. I feel like this is the weakest point for Boba, is the lane pushing. They seem to be very good at the team fighting, but when it comes to actually getting a great team fight and then a good push, they don't seem to be correlated. He does live.
I thought Jackie was as good as dead. I was like, oh, well, they still have Baron buff. Oh, well, never mind. I take back everything I said. This seems still kind of chalked up, but Jackie being able to survive, I think the Baron buff now just expired, if that's what. Yeah. All right, well, yeah, that was pretty damn short. Okay, well, Leofish getting caught out here, getting knocked up, and that's Stasis and probably a GA being popped as well. Ken trying to front line and just make sure that Filet-O-Fish has no way out. Oh, the safeguard over the wall, the flash committed, going in for the lethal damage, able to trade back on the Happy, and call the Forge God from Jackie, is able to find a knock up here, buying time as much as he can, but Cosmic has not arrived yet to the fight. It's just Hitman and Jackie trying to make things in. Huge knock up, Black Breath, Cosmic, can he find the damage as well? He's blinking low on HP, but they're just so damn tanky from the side of Boba Lovers. Jackie's doing everything he can, able to pop Seraphine on the back end of that, looking for the Gargoyle Stone Play, massive shield, but now it's just a bunch of beefy guys just slapping each other with dongs, and oh my goodness, what a battle, but Boba Lovers comes out on top.
They do come out on top. I'm honestly starting to think that this Vladimir is a great pick. I think Vladimir was picked before the Yasuo, or was it literally in conjunction with the Yasuo pick? I'm not too sure. But honestly, it looks like this is the pick that kind of really negates the Yasuo's potential, because as he was going into these team fights, we were thinking, yo, obviously the Alistair with a knock-up, then the Yasuo was coming in. I honestly thought that could have been like a really good like triple kill there for Cosmic, but because of that Sanguine Pool, being able to just literally be negated from any of that damage for the Vladimir, it really helps those team fights.
Yeah, I don't want to mess with the Vladimir late game, and unfortunately for MohLIEVERS, they're going to have to face that reality pretty much in every single fight going forward. Now that we're almost 20 minutes into the game, Elder is live for the taking, and I imagine that MohLIEVERS want to find a pick. They don't want to just go for the 5-on-5, but they're not going to be given that chance.
Yeah, no, they're definitely trying to deny it on all fronts here, Boba Lovers, because I think the 5v5 may be the part where MohLIEVERS could probably come out rocking there, but yeah, it's a hard one. I mean, it doesn't look like on the side of Yasuo, he's not really taking the AP from Seraphine and the Vladimir that seriously, because he's got no magic resistance. Not even the tenacity boots have come through here. We've got no MR on the Yasuo. He's clearly just sort of like, you know what, we'll work around it, but it's not quite working. That massive misfortune ult in the distance from the bush as well. That's Alistair down, that's Lee Sin down, that's Cosmic down, that's double kill for Misfortune. And is that the dragon as well? They get the Elder Dragon as well. What a fight here for Boba.
Now, Boba was just able to defuse most of the engage tools that MohLIEVERS threw out. But I have to say, there's a couple ultimates that were not used in that fight. Cosmic and Tony. Guys, I don't know what happened there, but it looked like Cosmic was not confident on Jackie's engage, and Filet-O-Fish did not just get a chance to look for the kick, and yeah, that should be game.
Boba was taking it. Wow.
Damn, Boba Lovers just what a stomp. I mean, it was even for a bit, and it was very competitive back and forth, but Boba Lovers, you have to give them so much credit for how well they played, being able to snowball the Seraphine Misfortune lane on the bottom side of the map. I mean, yeah, actually, you know, Blam, it's my favorite time of the broadcast where we get a third opinion, and one that had a very keen eye throughout the entire game. Pierce, what happened, bro?
Yeah, my number one thing that I see just as the game loaded in was that a Jackie, like under the tag American, played support for them, and Hitman's traditionally a Baron laner. And while I think Jackie performed out of his mind, I don't necessarily know if Hitman has a ton of practice on the Alistair. I think that the Boba Lovers had a decent lead right throughout the game, but it was almost exclusively from the bot lane. And I think that if we maybe swap those roles around a little bit in the next game, I think Hitman's an excellent Baron laner, and Jackie was a competitive support main too. So I really want to see that going into the next game, because I had pretty high expectations for Dienzio, Cosmic, Tony, Hitman, and Jackie. You know, these are all like household names in North American Wild Earth, basically. So very impressed with Boba Lovers. I'm excited. The draft that they put together was incredible. You know, like Sion started to see like play in China and stuff, so it's a very legitimate pick. Something that like it's a good tank, right? Like Ornn's the best tank, but then Sion's actually the second best tank. And you have the follow up with the Seraphine ult. When they're all stacked on top of each other, it goes across the whole map. Comboed with a Sion stun, the MF ult, and the Nunu ult. We saw that on the second dragon. We saw that right on that last Elder fight. Incredible composition here from Boba Lovers. I think we had an idea with banning out some of these enchanters here, but I think they were able to put together a great comp without the Lulu and stuff. I think they in last weekend, Jackie and Zio, they had really great draft plans. They weren't really banning metas. They were banning specific champion picks, from the enemy team. And I think they might have the knowledge wrong on this one. So I hope they look back and maybe change up the bans particularly. And then also having Jackie and Hitman swapping back their roles. That's really what I need to see in the next couple of games.
Yeah, I mean, just a quick one from me. What I find quite impressive about Boba Lovers is if you look at their team comp, none of that is necessarily meta. Obviously, we talked about the Sion coming into like China League as well, becoming like a popular pick. Nunu, not so much. Seraphine, we may see a APC every so often in EU. Misfortune barely gets played, and then obviously Vladimir is quite new in the mix. But I think that was a staple pick. There was the Vladimir really negating a lot of that sort of team fight damage onto the mage itself, but then also be able to dish out so much damage as well. I mean, 31k, the top damage on Boba Lovers is just massive.
Yeah. Really great composition from Boba Lovers. The thing is, I did want to. I wish we could take a look at the replay on that last fight, because I think Yasuo does incredibly well into this Seraphine like sort of comp. Like if we have Yasuo towards the front, like the Windwall could kind of just one basic ability could have countered like I think most of their team comp. But Yasuo has to play fairly safe too. He's looking to play on the outside like max range and then ult off. So he would have had to really change his playstyle, and I don't think they were able to identify that mid-game.
Yeah, the overall positioning for MohLIEVERS was tough for them to jockey for in the river for that Elder Dragon, because once again, Boba Lovers were first to the river, so they were able to set up ideal kind of like fighting battlegrounds and positions of where their frontliners wanted to be and where their carries wanted to be situated. But they weren't necessarily on the Dragon Pit. They were waiting for MohLIEVERS to enter in first, and then they were kind of separated where you saw Cosmic on the right side towards the blue jungle entrance. And I guess like Jackie was trying to set up for that first initial fight, but like we said before, either Cosmic wasn't confident in in the engage, or it was too dangerous for him to just kind of solo go in there, and so they had to wait for another knock-up set. So either Hitman has to find it with the pulverize, or Filet-O-Fish has to find it with a Dragon's Rage. And I think once Lee Sin got sniped out earlier on in the fight, it's like, well, I have to somehow, I need to wait for Hitman, but Hitman now has to be on peeling duty because Dienzio is fighting demons and for his life against this Vladimir, who has now been accelerated to the point of the game where he just seems to be like an undealable threat. And I do want to echo, I think a lot of the problems did come from the bot lane setup. Alistar's a great pick. And even if you have Jackie in that support role, you can also look at like, hey, you're going to run into issues when you have a double ranged lane against a melee and a ranged champion, because you're already losing the push war. And Filet-O-Fish was pathing towards the top side of the map, so Ken had the first move and first influence on that bottom side. And we already know from the previous series how much being able to influence the Dragon Lane setup first influences the rest of your early mid game.
Yep. Yeah, as we it's way different from Icons, by the way, Rafa. I didn't get to mention that too much in the first series, but Icons was all top lane, like who's got the best, top lane and stuff. Top lane's kind of useless right now in Wild Rift. That is one big change from Icons and stuff. It's all green runes in the top, so like everyone's like unkillable,
Yeah.
So the fact that Ken's able to affect the bot lane first, it shows, and that snowballs from there. That MF was so huge. You talked about the pen build, collecting all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I would like, so I believe MohLIEVERS should have blue side again, and I kind of want to see some adjustments in the bans as we're heading into this next game.
Definitely. But before we head into the next game, we are going to head over to Maisie with some of our ads. So take it away.
Thank you, Blam. I just have a quick message from a few of our sponsors. So first of all, finding a quality free-to-play game can be kind of a daunting task because there's a lot, and not all of them are as entertaining and nail-biting as Wild Rift. But that's where Budget Arcade Podcast is here to help. They've done the work of rating and reviewing a ton of free-to-play games, and they can help you find your new favorites. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. And now a quick message from Community Gaming before we go into our next match.
Try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, 'cause when we're gone, everything goes on. You were staring at the window, and I said I wanna take you to the sea. And when I'm better, we'll do everything. I gotta stop making promises I can't keep. But if I was gone tomorrow, won't the waves crash on? Is it selfish that I'm happy as we pass the setting sun? Someday I'll be overcast, but you won't have to cry, 'cause we'll do the grieving while I'm by your side. I said, don't try to make yourself remember, darling. Don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer. Someday both of us are leaving here, but for now I'll just bring this seed to you. Will you meet me in the daylight like we did before? Then I felt you on my shoulder and you weren't suffering anymore. You said I'm sorry that you worried, but don't apologize. I told you to forget me, but you stayed by my side when I said, don't try to make yourself remember. Darling, don't look for me, I'm just a story you've been told. So let's pretend a little longer, and when we're gone, everything goes on.
When feels like calm and wind stands still, run home, run home. As the crows make night of the fading sun, hide now, hide now. The cheeks do bow as if they weep. Stay down, stay down. Though its light beckons forth, a melody calls out. Too late, too late. Who told you it was out here? Come along if you wanted a peek. I've seen your face around here. Come along, tell me under the table. What do you see? Welcome to the playground, follow me. Tell me your nightmares and fantasies. Sink into the wasteland underneath. Stay for the night, I'll sell you a dream. Welcome to the playground. What brings you to the lost and found, dear? Won't you pull up a seat? Everybody
Welcome back, everybody, to what possibly could be the last match. I love saying this, and I want to be proven wrong, so I'm going to keep saying it until I'm proven wrong. What could possibly be the last match within the series against MohLIEVERS and Boba Lovers. Boba Lovers giving a great performance in the last match as we had the analyst breakdown towards the end. We just got to see what MohLIEVERS can do to try and take a victory from Boba Lovers.
We already have been surprised with not only the victory of a team that we're not familiar with over a team that, obviously we were very familiar with, but also just the way and the manner that they did it. Not only their gameplay, but the champions that they drafted, completely for us a more unique flavor on how to approach the game. The last time I saw a Nunu jungle being played was like some qualifiers for majors in the WNS. And the thing about a Nunu jungle is normally you lose pace with a more aggressive jungler like Lee Sin or anything else that can compete and just really snowball the game. But the fact that Ken was able to path towards the bottom side of the map, get the first touch on the dragon side, that meant that Filet-O-Fish was fighting an uphill battle in overall influence. So we're going to have to see not only how the draft changes, but also, as you noted, Blam, how does MohLIEVERS answer back in their overall game plan?
Yep, I'm pretty sure we'll find out here whether it'll be the Enchanter support bans once again. They are starting off with the Yuumi, as we do have now prior knowledge, knowing that in their last match, this was their one of their victory things was the Yuumi pick for Boba Lovers, and we still see the Varus pick for Boba Lovers being their first priority ban once again. I've just peeped that the F words left today, Blam 1, Rafa 0. I don't know why it's taken me so long just to realize that that's there, but I'm still inundated with an F-bomb. So let's see if this match actually deserves my one and only F-bomb. But massive fan with the Scion and the Volley Bear, though.
Don't worry, when you cash it in, it's such a gratifying feeling. You just release the weight of the world, and it's just this tension being released, So I'll let you decide when the time will be to engage. Now, as you notice, Scion being taken off the table, no huge front lines, at least from the Baron side of the map. You would have to invest in an Ornn pickup early on, and the Zed ban as well, just sniping out a potential assassin here for Cosmic. No Gragas either, meaning there's no powerful disruption. And the Vladimir straight up away is like, hey, that champ is not okay. We have to ensure that it's on our side going into this next game.
Yeah, you can kind of see that they already had like bans that they wanted more so a priority than the Vladimir itself. And to be fair, taking the Vladimir is not a bad shout. It's not like it's a terrible, like, you have to be a one-trick player to play the Vladimir. He's generally got a really good kit that can be utilized many ways. And they've locked in the Seraphine first pick once again. That's interesting. It was a great pick first time. So why not take it again a second time?
And the flip side here is that investing into the Vladimir B1 pickup means that the Kai'Sa is given over to Boba Lovers this time around, pairing up with the Seraphine. So you don't get the insane encore bullet time wombo that we saw being put to great use by Boba Lovers in the previous game. But Kai'Sa is still a powerful champion. Dienzio and Hitman were put behind on it. We'll see what happens this time going into game numero dos. As Nautilus being locked in, I'm imagining this is a support pickup.
Support or jungle. I don't think I've actually seen AP Nautilus jungle being played in this tournament yet. It's a big pick in EU. Yeah, and the Kassadin pick comes through. We did see it get banned. It was the last ban on the side of Boba Lovers last match, so it's clearly something that MohLIEVERS likes. I don't know if I've seen them play the Kassadin. I know somebody has played the Kassadin within this tournament. It is a surprise pick. I don't think it ended well for them. Just like it didn't end well for the MENA team in the Rift Legend tournament when they picked Kassadin in mid. It kind of just went to pot with that one. But the Akali pick as well. So Interesting. It's a lot of AP already on the side of Boba lovers. They love their AP champs. Then again, I mean, there's AP loads on MohLIEVERS as well.
Yeah, there's quite a substantial amount of match damage. I'm laughing at the chat that I just got from Pierce, where he said Jackie just asked me for Vlad build. I think he's going top again. Jackie. We can't be serious. We're not first topping Vlad in a competitive match. There's no way. I refuse to believe that. You know what? It does sound like something Jackie would do, which is why he is the Gremlin Goat. Bans aside, Riven and Kha'Zix being taken off as both are targeted towards the jungle, as neither team has clearly picked the jungle. You already mentioned that Nautilus could be flexed to Filet-O-Fish, but more than what I want to see is there needs to be some physical damage being picked up somewhere. And I mean, it makes sense that the junglers that are being taken off are mostly bruisers, fighters, and assassins.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is a good shout to take out that Lee Sin. I mean, going into this team comp, especially with the Nautilus as well, if he were going to go Nautilus support with the Vlad also, it's quite a massive setup for the Lee Sin. But yeah, they are preempting that Riven and Vi pick, so quite a brawler, in-your-face pick for the jungle on the side of Boba lovers, but they go for the Nasus in the Baron lane, it seems.
All right, how good is Nasus? Because I haven't seen this guy since he was a support with Senna back at Icon.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, the Susan combo. We don't really see Nasus in the Baron lane, so I'd be interested to see what he's going to do. Then again, I mean, you got the Akali, that's quite a bit of a flex pick, Baron lane or mid. Kaiser could be mid lane, we're not too sure yet. It could also be the ADC for the team. Yeah, it's an interesting one, seeing what's going on here. We've got Kayn coming through in the jungle. Kayn with first strike. Blue Kayn first strike is a fiend.
I have a quote from starting about Blue Kayn in particular. Blue Kayn is assassin on easy mode, aka cringe. It's just word for word. If you play Blue Kayn from starting's perspective, you are cringe. Which, you know, I feel bad because I may or may not have picked up a few ranked wins in this past week playing Blue Kayn once I discovered it was a thing, because the damage is pretty disgusting. It is insane. So there is not necessarily a ton of squishies though on the side of Boba lovers, so I don't know how strong the Rost version is in Wild Rift, but if it's comparable, then I could see that being the play, and you just want to be kind of a bruiser, Omnivamp kind of god in these team fights and just trying to sustain and buy as much time as you can in that Rost form. But to round up these last few picks here, not only it's the classic vein for Dienzio, which for the OGs, that's a throwback, and then the Wukong here for Ken.
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good shout for Kayn to go red this time around, especially with the Nautilus, because that's all they pretty much have in terms of the tanky side and the initiation side of things. Whereas we have the Wukong as well, being able to get in there, do some great knock-up, and then also retreat with the clone to just re-engage back into the team fights. And then Nasus, who the master of the Q stacker, when he's in them team fights, is going to do some horrendous damage onto the likes of like the squishy champions like the Vayne, the Kassadin if you can keep up to him, and then obviously Vladimir unless you get Sanguine Pooled and you can't hit him. So it's going to be interesting. The Nasus is not one of those picks that comes out often, but you can kind of see it being a substitute for the Scion pick over here with Fim. So it's not like he's gone too drastic within these Baron lane picks. They are one and the same, other than the second wind. It's just more so stacking that Q and utilizing it within these team fights.
Oh, we got level 1 action in the Dragon Lane duo.
Level 1
it looks
action.
like
That's it.
Nevermind was caught out. Hitman and D'Enzio have some words to say after the first game, and it's D'Enzio off to the races for first blood.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a quick first blood there. I don't think there was preempting that ambush there. The block there, a better word, from the Nautilus, and then obviously massive damage from the Vayne as well. So fair play to MohLIEVERS getting the first blood pretty much straight out the gate. But D'Enzio looking pretty low there. The Ignite being used a little bit too early to secure the kill.
The Honey Fruit comes up just in the nick of time, able to sustain back up, and he will be able to at least stay in lane for a couple more waves. But now he's under pressure, and I imagine that thankfully now with Filet-O-Fish pathing, clearing from top side into the bottom side of the map, he will have a chance to get first touch onto the Dragon Lane, but also being able to give relief over to D'Enzio and Hitman in case they need to look for an earlier recall.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this mid lane comp here setup is definitely an interesting one. The Akali and the Kassadin. Obviously, Kassadin can teleport in, teleport out. Obviously, at the cost of the mana as well. So it's gonna be interesting to see how or who comes out on top in this mid lane. Will it be Cosmic or will it be Celestial this time around? Wukong possibly going for a mid lane gank here. Oh.
Flash Force out.
Okay. Oh! Is he going to be trained? Oh, wow. Fair play.
More action in the Dragon Lane. Here comes Filet-O-Fish, the flash with the Reaping Slash, and being able to find the mark onto Nevermind, who did not have any summoners from the second skirmish in that Dragon Lane. And that is 3 kills up the board for MohLIEVERS against MohLIEVERS.
Yeah, it's put Vayne at a very nice spot in terms of the gold already. She's ahead by almost 800 gold there on the side of MohLIEVERS. I feel like already they're kind of setting the pace, they're setting the tone of this match. Pretty much quite quick. They want to sort of establish themselves already within this match, but Filet-O-Fish getting caught out here, possibly by the Seraphine. Oh, just to keep himself alive. Oh, Kaiser, come on.
Shadow walk, Q.
Ooh, nicely done. Calculated, but then Hitman coming in to just mess up the scene. There's the hook. There goes the Seraphine again.
Well, the cope answer is that Filet-O-Fish wanted to get the extra stacks for his blue form, because with the Electrocute and the Armor Pen boots, I just love that there's Armor Pen boots. Anyway, point aside. Filet-O-Fish now has a lot more stacks towards the blue form, just trying to whittle down Nevermind. And then, thankfully D'Enzio was close enough that he and Hitman was able to get a retribution kill of some sort. But Boba Lovers, first kill of board, still down 2,000 gold, and Filet-O-Fish is quite accelerated alongside D'Enzio at this point in the game.
Yeah, definitely. It's like PS let us know that Jackie was asking for a build for the Vladimir, so I think that's probably the only weak point in this match for MohLIEVERS is seeing if they can make this Vladimir work with lack of experience with on the Vladdy Daddy. But I think so far he's not doing too bad. He's not letting the Nasus take the gold lead within the lane. He is farming up very nicely. Now going back for the first recall. Oh no, but then denied.
Yeah. I'm curious about why they wanted to send the Nasus into the Vladimir specifically, since they saw that it was both Kassadin and Vlad. And because Vladimir, typically, at least from the League PC experience, has had a good matchup in the Nasus because you can just harass him with your blood transfusion over and over again, and Nasus can't really do anything about it, because if he tries to wither you down and slow down your attack speed, like your harass is ability based as Dragon Lane. Huge pick on the Nevermind. D'Enzio does go down in the trade fire.
Gage. Oh, double kill. Nicely done for Tony the Jungler. Nicely done. Big pick up there. Double kill for Kane. It's put him in 1-2 now. Here comes the Wukong. There's the Akali going in onto the Nautilus, getting that Ignite as well. Can you get a double kill onto the Kassadin? Not quite with that damage over time.
At least a nice answer from Ken there, being able to pick up not only Filet-O-Fish under tower, but also with the combined efforts of Celestial getting Hitman on the backside. But Cosmic managing to survive is crucial, as that would have been another snowball being basically stifled. That still puts Boba Lovers in a position where they're able to off-tempo get the dragon, but it's another Rift Trail trade. It's now potential and all-in. Fim, and yeah, that's just going to be the ultimate from Fim.
Oh, I thought they were going to manage to steal that there just a little bit too late onto the approach into Rift Hell Camp. But they do get the Mountain Drake, which is obviously, once again, a massive shield buff for the team. Kassadin doing his own little bit down in that bot lane, wanting those turret platings and that extra gold.
I mean, if you have a Kassadin accelerated, that's already terrifying. There's so much late game scaling that's available on this squad for MohLIEVERS, is now they're just going to make the dive happen.
Ooh, nice. Nice knock up there from the Nautilus. We got a Filet-O-Fish going in with the ult as well, so that has been exhausted on Kane. Kane goes back in onto the Akali. Nicely denied by Ken, though. Huge deny there from Ken on the Wukong, denying that Akali kill.
Yeah,
I think Boba Lovers are still in. They're still into it. They're still here. They're still here.
Yeah, the gold lead is nowhere being ran away with by the side of MohLIEVERS, and if we've learned anything about Boba Lovers, is you can't count them out. I think Cosmic just barely dodged out on Ken. Not expecting him to also be there. I think was just fishing for Nevermind, to seeing if he could get a Summoner spell out or a hasty Encore being casted. But meanwhile, Jackie's still back into the top side of the map. I just want to kind of set the stakes here with the late game scaling that is already being achieved by multiple members on the side of MohLIEVERS. There's now an onus on Boba Lovers to be like, hey, I mean, we have some scaling on our side as well, but I feel like the overall power grasp, I could be totally wrong, since, you know, I don't know what the power levels of these champions individually are to each other, but when I see Kassadin and Vayne and Vladimir all doing relatively well and ahead of gold of their counterparts, that seems really, really terrifying for the enemy team.
Oh yeah, totally. You're not wrong. Not wrong. They are definitely not ones to be taken lightly, and this is definitely showing here, especially with the Kassadin. But nice 1-1 trade there from Nevermind. Is a double kill now for Kane. Can we see the Akali do bits here? I mean, oh, triple kill for Mr. Tony there. Filet-O-Fish walking away with the triple kill down in the bot lane.
Yeah, that was great timing on the Umbral Trespass, being able to dodge on that last bit of damage from Celestial. And huge triple kill. I mean, the Shadow Kane is so damn strong once he gets to this stage of the game. Already, not only the tier 2 boots unlocked, but also that first item, Serpent's Fang, was completed quite a while ago. Sitting on 8k gold, I imagine he should be getting close to his second. Yep, Manamune being picked up. This is a much harder game for Boba Lovers to play than the first one.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It's a complete different switch up here for MohLIEVERS. I mean, we've not even got the Vlad activated yet. He's just doing his best to keep the gold lead in that Baron lane, which is all he pretty much can do right now, Jackie. But he's not doing bad. I mean, there's no net positive going on in that role. Net negative, sorry, going in that role. He's not like he's died or gave up a few kills or anything of the sort. If anything, he's ahead of that lane because they have the turret, whereas Nasus does not, and he has the gold lead alone in that lane, which isn't massive. It's just under 1k or so for Vladimir, but we don't know how many stacks this Nasus has got and how hard he's going to be hitting soon. But Celestial looking to get the kill onto Filet-O-Fish, managing to do it just before the second Drake is up, and it's going to be the ice Drake, sorry.
Being engaged though in the river. Dienzio going all out as Jackie's also over the wall. but not able to get the cooldowns up in time. But Dienzio's just firing air one after another, but gets hit by a massive encore from the side of Nevermind. Now it's Hitman and Cosmic Soul that are on the run. They've run out of members to play with.
Nice.
And
Well done.
baby Boba Lovers just being able to answer on back. We had the questions set up for them, and it looks like they're ready to answer. Filet-O-Fish comes in with a teleport. He wants to contest this.
Yeah, I mean, Ken's already pretty much... It was full health going into this. There's that the health gain from Wukong is massive currently, especially on that first ability. And with the... he's got Conqueror instead of the Grasp because he's not in Baron Lane. But anyway, I am just chatting Bear. But we just see the Ken going in full onto the Filet-O-Fish there. But it was managed to get the second Drake, which is massive, denying another dragon for MohLIEVERS.
Looks like Fim, though, might have overextended for this tower, wanting to get a little more than he could actually stay for. It's a little overextended on the play. Once you get that dragon, everyone should be resetting so that they will redeploy all together. This is a huge moment now for MohLIEVERS. You have about 16 seconds before the rest of Boba Lovers can fully deploy with all 5 members. They're going to take this time to establish some vision control on this top side where the Baron will be spawning in just under a minute. All 5 members is going to be available for Boba Lovers, but now you have a little bit of an advantage to try and see if you can get a pick early on, as Hitman is already behind enemy lines waiting for this to happen.
Yep, Ken going 1v1 onto Dienzio, but now Filet-O-Fish coming in onto
Nice
the
dodge.
Ken. Oh, nicely done there, but it was obviously unfortunate there for Seraphine trying to get his teammate out, and then it's unfortunate a double kill there for Vayne, so I don't think Boba Lovers really set up that engage very well or tried to deny the kills for MohLIEVERS there. It just ended up being a nice 3-0 trade for MohLIEVERS, possibly a 4-0. They're looking to try and get Jackie down. He does manage to do it, but he has now got a 4-on-1 to call an answer to. And he does fall under the turret of the mid lane. And it's now setting up that Baron Nashor. Ken is now back up. Doesn't quite have teleport here, so he can't teleport in onto the Akali to try and deny the Baron Nashor. It's going to go for blue team.
Clean stuff overall for MohLIEVERS there. You saw that because they had the 5-man advantage on the map, Hitman was able to sneak into the red side jungle. And so when you saw the rest of Ken, Nevermind, and Happy try to go for the isolated play on the Dienzio, they had the collapse ready. They had the play already read in advance. And that just snowballed quickly into that Baron take. The only thing that's unfortunate for the side of MohLIEVERS is that Jackie was just getting completely railed by Fim. I had no idea that the Nasus matchup would actually be this favorable, but with this much ability haste on Nasus, you are just delivering blow after blow, cane after cane, and it is getting a little tough for Jackie, as now Cosmic is the one trying to side lane him against him, but we have a fight here in the jungle side.
Oh, massive. There we go. So we see that Filet-O-Fish managed to take out the Akali. They take out the Seraphine as well. Wukong managing to take out Jackie there. So Ken on the run, but Vayne manages to close that gap and get the kill. To be fair to MohLIEVERS, they do have a great minion wave push on all 3 lanes, so they could do some real big damage here. What they've got the Kassadin still alive. Still 1v1 in it. The Nasus, I thought Cosmic would have gone down pretty early in that, because he was looking like he took a lot of damage early on within the interaction in that top lane from the Nasus, but he's still alive. They got the tier 2 turret in the top lane, in the mid lane, and the bot lane, so massive turret gains there for MohLIEVERS. And when Boba Lovers is currently sitting at no turrets is a bit yikes.
It leaves you little ground to work with on the side of Boba Lovers here, Blam. So this is this is quite the opposite of how game 1 panned out, where it is now MohLIEVERS starting to run away with the game. It's not quite in the doomed 10k gold lead bust moment here for them. There's still, only 9,000, so the copium is still there for them. Now Fim seems to be matching up well against Jackie, as he's not quite in a state where he can matchup against Fim. Also itemizing for a lot of magic resist and healing early, so that as Jackie tries to heal up against him, Fim is able to match that and also do more. Ken, he's fine.
Yeah, Ken's fine with that Shadow Clone Jutsu there from the Mr. Wukong Fish working on the Ocean Dragon as well. So getting the first dragon for MohLIEVERS, but currently the way they are sitting and standing in this fight, they only need the one dragon. They don't need these 3 dragons. They've got the Ocean Dragon, which is a great buff still. But yeah, 17 kills to 13. They are pretty much... Yeah, Copium would say, they're behind 10k gold, pretty much. They are behind 10k gold there.
Yeah. I have to say, normally I don't talk about itemization that much, but or like small items, but I love this third item pickup from Dienzio. I don't remember the name of it. I just know it's a tank item. It gives you both. Yeah, it gives you armor and magic resist, if I'm not mistaken. Not necessarily HP, but it's just a ton of flat resistances, which is, you know what, with Vayne, you already have enough attack speed between Wits End and Bork to really get a lot of damage out. Sorry about this, Celestial. Goodbye, sir. The Vayne just needs to survive. Dienzio knows that he is one of the prime targets that a lot of the members of Boba Lovers would love to assassinate, and just by making himself slightly tankier, that job is now even harder to complete.
Yeah, definitely. We do see every so often this Vayne build, the Twin Guard Amaranth. It's a great build, especially when you've got quite a lot of AP damage on the enemy team. Massive. You get so much more viability in these team fights. You just get like a second win with that massive shield that you get from it as well. So it's a great item to go for. It's enabled them to get the Baron Nashor. They are able to still keep into this fight. The Dienzio going hard with this massive attack speed. They've taken it 2 champions. It's a triple kill for Dienzio. They have the Baron Nashor buff. They have the minion wave push as well. And it's only Kong and Akali alive, and they've managed to take out Cosmic there. Jackie's going to decide to give it a go. They do lose the inhibitor down in bot lane. They're going for the mid lane inhibitor as well. Double kill. Oh, for Celestial. Okay.
Filet-O-Fish trying to cook a little too much, burning himself in the fire there under the Nexus, but they're going to try to barrel and brute force their way into closing out game 2 to send us to a game 3. A first potentially here for Blam, as well, as we've only been seeing best of 2s, or just straight up 2 games here, but finally, Blam, Christmas has arrived early for both of us, as now we're going the distance for the first time.
We are indeed going the distance. I would probably sing the Disney song, but I don't think I want to be subjected to that. But yeah, we do finally get a full best of 3, which is something I've been wanting since day 1 of the playoffs. And what a team to do it. It's the first series was fantastic. This one had a lot more sort of... Obviously, it was in the favor of MohLIEVERS, but there was a little bit more of a kickback in terms of what Boba Lovers wanted to do. We could see they tried to execute it, but it just didn't come into fruition. I don't think the Seraphim pick on this comp was the best thing for them. The Nasus pick was great. The Wukong was definitely utilized very well in terms of trying to aid some of his allies trying to get these team fights. But yeah, I think that maybe the dual lane could have been a little bit more organized in terms of the draft. But anyway, any of my B tier of analysis, it is now going to the S tier analyst, that is Pierce. What did you think?
Pierce. Yeah. So I was really happy with kind of what they ended up drafting this game. I think they lucked out on maybe not lucked out, but really good play from Hitman and Zio going into that bush. But on the opposite side, as like most of you should know in ranked, like Seraphine, Kaisa probably shouldn't walk into that bush, you know, to be like 1v1 like that. I think it's a pivotal moment there. The scaling comp, you've got Vlad, Kassadin, Vayne. You know, as long as they go even, they win the game. The only real scaling champions are the Kaisa and I guess the Nasus, but Nasus and he's doing full tank. So something that's changed in like recent times, just updating chat and Rafa, is the introduction of like the tier 2 boots, which has become like really important to rush. You'll see like Baron laners starting Ruby Crystal just so they can build their boots first. And then what I'm getting to is Kassadin is now like a triple S tier pick in China. Like it's banned in most professional series. China ranked only has 3 bans, and they actually banned Kassadin in ranked. It's because of these mana boots that are just so incredibly strong, and they really enable the Kassadin. It's not something I expect to see too much of in our like Void series, but I know like Mally like tells Josh to practice Kassadin like every day, so we might get to see it for Puddi. All around, just really competent play here from Filet. Also, we talked about in the first series, you got to gank that bot lane, you know, and Filet, Tony the jungle was all over it, really covered up, an already solid game from Dienzio and Hitman. And once you get ahead on the Vayne, you can see from Dienzio's score here, he ran over it, he put out his mind, condemns all over the place. And yeah, it was definitely, the last thing I will say, it was definitely Jackie's first Vlad game.
Yeah.
He opened with the pool over and over. You hate to see it. But a win's a win. A win's a win.
You know, that the strategy of picking the Vladimir was not taking the Vladimir and using it. It was denying the Vladimir from Celestial.
That's a really good point now, right? Because now Boba levelers will be on the blue side. So we should see the Vlad ban now coming out from MohLIEVERS, right? Because I think you're absolutely right. It was not that Jackie was trying to play Vlad. It was making sure that Celestial didn't play the Vlad. So that's a ban I absolutely expect now MohLIEVERS to have in this next game. I liked how they changed up the bans too. They kept the Yuumi. I think that was smart. Happy played Yuumi last time, so I don't know exactly how it worked, this week. But keeping that Yuumi ban, we're adding the Vlad, and they've still got one more. Maybe they can optional from that red side.
Yeah. I'm not sure if Cosmic is familiar with Vladimir, but I imagine since he is the designated mid laner for the team that he has some experience. And I looked at this, Vladimir draft experience almost like if you've ever seen the movie Inglourious Basterds by Quentin Tarantino, where they're discussing about, hey, how do we get into the film premiere? It's like, oh, well, we can all just pretend we're speaking Italian. It's like, all right, well, Celestial speaks Italian the best.
Yeah.
Then Cosmic speaks Italian second best. And then Jackie speaks Italian third best. Jackie goes, I don't speak Italian. I don't play Vlad. Like we said, third best, So it's just...
Third best, yep. I mean, they denied it. I think it was ultimately really good. I think Celestial still, played the Akali pretty well. But playing into the Kayn, I'm not sure if... we didn't really get to capitalize too much because there's a lot of movement going on. But the Kayn was insanely countering the Akali. He was in the Shroud, and the very first 1v1 they had, in the bot lane when Kayn picked up a triple kill, he's spamming his R so he didn't get hit by the R2, and then he ends up winning that kill on the Akali. Really great play from Tony of the jungle.
Definitely. I don't think there's much else for either of us to say on that one other than we are getting a full best of 3. I've had no pings that there is no ads after this one, so I believe we're just going to go to an intermission before we get into what is the final match of the night. So it can only be MohLIEVERS or Boba going through to this next round, so they've got to pull out all the stops that is necessary to get there. So we'll catch you guys very soon. Stay tuned.
For the beat and the broken, for the lost and forsaken.
be up here for the long run, strap in for a long one. We got everybody on one. Now you coming at the king, so you better not miss. And we only get stronger with everything I carry up on my back. You should paint it up with a target. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come get your sport out, but we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up. Take a lap now, don't be mad now. Run it back, run it back. I got bodies lining up, think you're dreaming of greatness. Send you back home, let you wake up. Why would you dare me to do it again? Come and get your sport out my head. We're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
在以后，除了是傻子，还有其他吗？我左右，键盘噼啪在时间滴答着，还不够。你的固执让我来守候，哪怕太迟也不想以后。就在这时放肆的打斗。I got the heart of a lion, I know the harder you climb, the harder you fall. I'm at the top of the mountain, too many bodies to count. I've been through it all. I had to weather the storm to get to the level I'm on. That's how the legend was born. All of my enemies already dead and born. I'm ready for war. They know I'm ready for war. I told them
We're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, look at you calling my name. You ought to know by now that we're taking over. We're taking over. Hey, maybe you wonder what your future's gonna be, but I got it all locked up.
Wish I could not keep scoring, but I'm rising above it. Now you're crushing and burning. God knows you didn't earn it. My friend Karma's a bitch. She's got some lessons you learned. You're a snake, I can see it in your face.
Welcome back to the Void series, and it is, as I said before the intermission break, the final match in this, the final round, sorry, in this series. So I am super hyped to see what either of these teams can do to actually take the victory over one or the other. I mean, this is it. If they do get knocked out, then that's it, unfortunately, for them in the tournament. So it's pretty much all or nothing for either of these teams. So I feel like there's going to be some Trump picks come out in this match. What are your thoughts, Rafa?
I think the Seraphine has been super terrifying in both games, win or lose for Nevermind. But I know that the Yuumi has been the priority support enchanter band for MohLIEVERS, so I guess they really don't want passenger princesses on the other side of the field. But for the rest of the squad, I think MohLIEVERS were able to find a really solid answer in their setup and just overall playstyle. I got to see the Dienzio that I've known for quite some time with the Vayne pick. He was just actually accelerated in this game, and as the level 1 setup that Pierce mentioned, just being able to find such a massive opportunity in the 2v2. Once Dienzio gets accelerated on something like the Vayne, I mean, this for the OGs, that's the champion that Dienzio won the entire Rift Masters 1v1 championship on. So this is a staple for him, and he was just ripping people in fights, clearly deserving of the MVP, as the game pointed out. So now this is where Nevermind and Happy have to not only coordinate a better lane setup, but also with Ken's like, hey, we really need to get you onto the dragon side of the map first before Filet-O-Fish. Otherwise, we're going to be cooked this game. And mention as well, I don't know if it showed on stream, but Jackie is now playing support this time around. Hitman has swapped to Baron lane, so MohLIEVERS are taking this final game as seriously as they can get. They are blasting on full cylinders.
Yeah, I did recognize that one, and we are getting an interesting first ban this time around for Boba lovers. They've gone for the Pike ban here, and then once again we see the Yuumi ban. Do I think that because they're now back onto the blue side here, Boba lovers, will they try and hope that this Varus is up for the taking as the first pick, or will they go for the Vlad once again? It's going to be interesting to see what they actually prioritize in their first pick.
2 more bans left. We'll see if Vladimir is going to be one of them, because I'm in the same boat with you. You should not be taking that one to chance, because Celestial pretty much was the final nail in the coffin there for game 1, because even though the Misfortune of the Seraphine combo damage was terrifying, and when it came down to the last bits in the tables, like the Vladimir was the one that stood above all the rest. And a little bit of respect for Cosmic's Kassadin, as Pierce mentioned, why this champion is such a high priority pick over in China, and now the respect is being paid here in this final game of the series.
Oh, so Vlad unfortunately does not survive the first 6 bans. So I'm hoping that the fact that they've gone for the Gragas. So I'm pretty sure we didn't see Gragas get banned for both of these matches, I believe, if I recall correctly. Was it banned last match? Okay. So it wasn't banned in the first match, but it was banned in a last match. And it looks like that's what they're going to prioritize this time around. And you get Ornn once again. I mean,
hell yeah.
From an Ornn-less series to an Ornn-full series this time around with the Gragas. Will it be support Gragas, jungle Gragas, or will we see that mid Gragas once again?
Yeah. Pierce also getting a quick note in from his messages. The Pike ban was something specifically thrown towards Jackie's way, since now he is actually in the support role. That is something that he piloted to great success, apparently, in last week. So, a little bit of a shame that we're not going to see that. But you know what? This is the do or die match for Boba lovers. So they have to make sure that all the best champs are being taken away from them. The Ziggs, that's another staple in NA Wild Rift, and as well as Dienzio being one of the first dragon laners to really pilot that one to success, as the Nunu for Ken, a return to something that worked super well in game 1.
Yep, that Nunu. To be fair, I mean, he didn't perform bad on the Wukong, but I feel like the Nunu pick for acquisition of the Dragons and the Rift Herald and the Baron Nashor, it's just got more potential of being able to secure it just before the enemy team tries to rush your camp and tries to contest it. But the Lulu support we saw banned twice on the side of MohLIEVERS, so that's now come through for Nevermind, so that's gonna be really cool to see the Lulu. Especially, there's a lot of CC on the side of Boba lovers already. It's gonna be interesting to see what else they decide to go for. But currently, the Gragas, Lulu, and Nunu is a massive pick. But then on the side of MohLIEVERS, they're going for the Blitzcrank, so not quite the pike hook that we are used to seeing on Jackie that got in the last two weeks the kills, the wins, sorry. But we've got the Blitzcrank hook as well, so we've not got the Nautilus, we've not got the pike, but we've got the third best, which is Blitzcrank. So yeah, and the Jinx ban, interestingly enough, towards the end for MohLIEVERS.
Trying to take out some very potent marksmen that could match up to the damage output that Ziggs would have in the late game. No Kayn either for Filet-O-Fish, no Zed. Just gonna go for what seems like the next best assassin for the side of MohLIEVERS. And with the Blitzcrank, also shout out to Pierce, says this is one of Jackie's more play champions. Overall, Jackie does have quite the affinity with champions that have some type of hook ability, whether that's the Pike Bone Skewer or the Dredge line from Nautilus and the Rock Grab. It just sets up great for single target picks in CC, and that allows you to get the snowballs rolling. The answer, though, if you are under threat by a lot of engage in CC and pick potential, Xayah's great, because that Feather Storm allows you to go invulnerable and dodge out on those crucial abilities.
And the last pick for Boba lovers is the Akali. So we're going to get the Xayah and the Lulu in the dual lane. It looks like Gragas potentially up in the Baron lane against the Ornn. And then possibly the Akali up in the mid lane against who yet? Possibly the Yone?
What's the final pickup here, guys? It's the Jace. Yo, Blam, we're really interesting. We're getting a little bit of a poke comp again, just like the last match.
Poke fest. A little bit of a poke off. We always love a bit of poke. Not too sure how to go with that one. That is a sleep brain.
You know, the Facebook poke wars you would have back in the day?
That's it. Yeah. Oh my god, that is nostalgia. Jeez.
Really showing our age here.
Literally, yeah. I was like, wow. That literally sent me back into the past. But I'm pretty sure chat's like, what the hell's Facebook? And what the hell's Poke Wars?
You know, that would make me extremely depressed. But it would also just go to show, like, wow, we are that old. We are boomers.
We're internet boomers. But yeah, but yeah, I was gonna say to the point. Interestingly enough, we didn't get like the likes of Camille or Fiora banned, and neither of them picked. So really interesting to see that these two teams generally don't want to go for the top picks that we're used to seeing within these top teams, especially the ones that they normally strive for, like the Camille and the Fiora. They're just going for stuff that sort of more so fits in with their kit. So, interestingly enough, they're going for the Ornn against the Gragas. We see Kha'Zix coming out once again with First Strike. Pretty much 3 out of 5 of the MohLIEVERS have First Strike, so that's pretty intense for Boba lovers here. But I'm really interested to see how they do with this Lulu pickup with the Xayah as well. I mean, if Stu's still watching, I'm pretty sure he's bored and he's playing back to the old God Country UK. But he would be very happy with the Xayah pick, so...
Shout outs to him. As we take to the Rift for both teams here. Now with Jackie and Hitman in their premier roles for this squad. We're going to see how well these two can tango. Double lane or double range matchup here in the Dragon lane for Happy and Nevermind does put a what should be a stronger should, but nice hook here already from Jackie. Huge chunk onto Nevermind. It was already starting to go the way of Boba Lovers with the chunk on Dienzio, but now that evens up things.
Yeah, definitely massive hook there. But I mean, he's used to playing the Nautilus. We didn't see him last match on the Nautilus, but seeing that hook pretty much mid lane, didn't have to hide in the bush to get that or land that. It was pretty good.
So far, I like what Filet-O-Fish is doing, pathing from top side to bot side. So once he completes these Raptors, he can either, greed out for another camp before playing for Crab, which it looks like that is going to be the play, while Ken is trying to full clear all of his jungle on this top side. Curious to see if Ken is going to try to loop back around to get to bot side, as Nevermind gets hooked in again. Great exhaust, ruining out the damage as well from Dienzio, forced to flash. No honeydew fruit. That's first blood for Nevermind, and he's able to hide out Jackie as well. So he's forced under the tower. It's a double Filet-O-Fish. Can he salvage this one? He has already been expended. Oh, it's disaster for Boba. Boba Lovers, 3 kills on the board.
Jeez, oh my gosh, what an engage and what a lovely amount of CC. Very well played by Nevermind on the Xayah. This is clearly a great pick of his coming down into that bot lane, especially paired up with that Lulu. Very, very nice.
This is a huge start for Nevermind as well. The tier 2 boots being completed, not only having that extra bit of raw AD, but also the Omnivamp means that he has sustain to keep up and put pressure on this lane. And now Ken, not being punished by the fact that he full cleared topside and was here second to Filet-O-Fish, because his Dragon lane did just fine in a 2v3 situation. And now he's here to protect them on this hover. But now Dienzio and Jackie are under extreme amount of pressure.
Yeah, definitely. They got the Nudu here as well as the Lulu and the Xayah. We've already seen Xayah has the potential and the damage right now to take out these duo lane champions. And once again, another double kill for Nevermind. Obviously, they trade a double kill as well this time around, but it puts them at 6 kills to 2, which is going to be a great lead for Xayah. I mean, look at Xayah's gold right now. She's almost 1,900 gold difference here. It is crazy the amount of damage, the amount of gold she already has in lead of this Ziggs right now, and it's setting up for a great lead in the early game to mid game for Xayah. I think they just need to keep this pressure on this duo lane, because even though they've proven that they can push and overreach in that bot lane and do a lot of damage onto that turret and get the bonus gold as well, there was no intervention from the Kazakhs either, so they timed that very well.
Yeah, and Nevermind is at the point where they're almost about to complete both a first item and tier 2 boots before Dienzio has even looked at either of those completions as well. Cosmic is also taken out in a solo lane by Celestial, which prompted Filet-O-Fish to cover it. And it's a good flash, though, from Happy, and a nice look from Jackie to get the Summoner Spell out from Happy. But as you already called out here, Blam, the Dragon lane setup for Nevermind and Happy is in great foundation setup, and now the question comes to Boba or MohLIEVERS: how do you defuse this bomb that is pretty much already ticking in Nevermind?
Yeah, no, they've got to try and put a stop to that duo lane, I think, if possible. We got the jungle objectives first coming up now. Will we see a bit of a split push for either of these objectives? Will we see a clear priority for Dragon or a clear priority for Rift Herald on the side of MohLIEVERS? I feel like they may go for Rift Herald more so than the Dragon, just to apply some pressure in that mid lane, because I feel like if they're not going to win in the dual lane, they've got to win in another lane. But Nunu here with a massive ult. Oh my days, Celestial taking the kill onto Kazakhs, but neither team have got jungle coming into both of these jungle objectives now up in 2 seconds. I don't think either of the teams are silly enough to try and go for these objectives just yet, because they don't have the smite and easily could be stolen from either team if they start it. I think they need to just try and get some more gold, farm up a little bit, maybe make some advances on this lane. But we do see the switcheroo happen from mid lane to dual lane. We have the Jace going down into the bot lane and already doing a bit of work onto that bot lane turret.
Yeah, this was a really nice read and just heads up play from Dienzio and Jackie. They were losing the lane on the bottom side of the map, but they got the first shove in and they were able to rotate mid, which allowed them to make the trade onto Ken and Celestial in the first place. Well, never mind. Now being able to complete...
getting caught out here.
Great pick setup. Featherstorm, able to cancel a lot of damage here. Now call the Forge God from
nice root.
Hitman. Not able to use it because he was rooted up, as you called out. Huge engage tools already being burned by MohLIEVERS, but they're gone now, and not much damage that was actually sustained on Boba Lovers, so they're free to be able to look for a second fight.
Yeah, when you got players playing at this level, you'd like to think all that was pretty much calculated with the Xayah, with the root there, denying Hitman of that second proc of his ultimate, because these are the things that change the pace of any team fight, because that could have been massive for MohLIEVERS here, but still could be massive. There is a one trade currently from across the team fight here. They lose the Akali, but they also lose the Ornn as well. We see Ken pretty low. Jace missing out that snipe damage onto Ken. Ken manages to actually get out of that team fight alive, but he is pretty low and is unable to get to that Rift Herald right now. But also, on the flip side, Filet-O-Fish is also pretty low and not looking confident enough to take the Rift Herald either. So they've gone back for a reset, and we see that Jace pushes that bot lane to go for a reset as well. So all in all, I think that's what MohLIEVERS needed after that wipeout in the dual lane that's taken place early game.
Yeah. This Rift Herald will go over the side of Boba Lovers for sure. As you already called out, the resets were early first for them instead of MohLIEVERS. Late on the play after being able to take the dragon. That's an objective trade is a nice pickup from Jackie. Huge on the Happy, and Celestial also getting caught in the crossfire as well. And if they stop this Rift Herald, they stop the Rift Herald from crashing, as you called it, Blam, and that's huge because that completely negates the objective trade that you were looking for as Boba Lovers.
Yeah, so that was the whole point of getting that Rift Herald, was trying to get some more presence in that mid lane, because they've kind of fallen down in that dual lane. We saw that the Jace pushed the bot minion waves to get the try and get that dual lane turret, and we see the Jace rotate back around. They do manage to get the mid lane turret, however, but unfortunately for Gragas, getting picked off there by that Ziggs ult, which was a massive.
Celestial climbing over the wall. Jackie's there with the hook, just brings the Akali closer to him. I don't know if that's exactly what they wanted, and Jackie might just be the sacrificial lamb to make sure that Filet-O-Fish and Hitman also get out alive. 3 members strong on this top side of the map, as Dienzio is here. Whoa, wait. Cosmic, I think he found a solo kill on a never mind. That's huge. That was a huge shutdown bounty. I mean, this Xayah had 2 items to their name. Cosmic only had 1. I don't know how that happened in the first place, and unfortunately, we're not going to get a replay, but that is massive, because now the gold lead has just swung out the door here for MohLIEVERS.
Definitely, yeah. I think that switcheroo from the mid lane to the dual lane really helped, because it's now putting Jace in a more isolated situation, being able to force that minion wave, but we do see Gragas managing to catch out Cosmic there in the bot lane, which was very handy, and I think it's something that's needed for Boba Lovers here. But 3v1 onto the Akali. Can she escape? Ornn's trying everything. There is bombs being slinged. There is a God Warrior after you, and there's that bomb landing straight onto the Akali as well.
The Kobe from downtown Dienzio looking for that flash little bomb play. Oh my goodness. Good stuff, bro. And Dienzio being able to bounce back in this game. That early laning phase after the surprise turnaround from Nevermind for the double, and then the triple on top of it from Filet-O-Fish trying to collapse and salvage the play. That's a lot to bounce back from. But Dienzio, the competitive mindset, I mean, this guy's won world championships in the past, in other titles. He knows that no game is unwinnable, even from an early game disaster like that. Always ready to bounce back, and that is the mentality you need to be able to compete at the highest level here in Void Series.
Definitely. But I mean, Jackie is completely blitz diff here with these hooks. I'd like to see, there needs to be some sort of like hit rate with these hooks, that we should see some hidden stat that we should be able to calculate for Jackie. How many of these there we go, there's one for a miss, but we didn't see that before. But yeah, his hook potential on these champions like Blitz is crazy, and it's definitely serving as a great utility for taking out the Xayah and taking out the Akali, which is definitely turning the team fights in favor for Boba Lovers currently. Running down the mid lane with the minions as well. Can they get the second tier turret here? Yep. Oh, no.
Oh,
Denied.
not quite. Yeah, Ken
Denied.
Snowball was able to block out that last minion wave. But I imagine as soon as Dienzio gets to walk up with another satchel charge, he can just pop it quite easily. As now they just rotate on over into the jungle, take control. Dragon has spawned. This is now where Boba lovers are in a desperate spot where they have to force an advantageous pick, but everyone is frontlining so damn well as Cosmic's already bought time and split up members here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've seen a great push for that inhibitor. Look at all that damage that Jace and the minions have managed to do to just that inhibitor alone. It's like 11 minutes in, just over the 11-minute mark. They are pretty much damaging the inhibitor. This is probably the fastest paced game out of the series so far. And it's definitely currently looking like in the favor for MohLIEVERS, even though they're only behind 1 kill. But it is that goal difference and that dive onto the side, that focus from Kha'Zix, Blitz, and Ornn. There's that double knock-up onto Ken as well. He's pretty low. But I think the aim here is to try and get that minion wave back at that inhibitor to take it down, because that is going to be vital for them.
And that first strike rune making some great payoffs and dividends here, not only just for the Jace and the Ziggs, as we already saw being fruitful in our first match, but even on the Kha'Zix. I don't know, or I don't remember what the Void Spike damage used to be in the past, because it was something that I don't remember a lot in solo queue, like being evolved first. It was usually like you evolve Q, so you have the you have easier time securing objectives, and then looking for the R to make more plays in solo queue, and then E for resets. But the first strike rune with the evolved Void Spikes, that did some major damage, and that's another poke tool that you have on top of the Ziggs, on top of the Jays. So even if you don't have all 3 members, you have ways to bully members off from being able to take up space in time for an objective control. And now we're seeing the results being an 8,000 gold lead here for the side of MohLIEVERS.
Yeah, I think that's what comes with the positive of having 3 first strikes on your team, is that before you even go into an engage, you see your health deplete, and you're like, all they did was land 1 hit on me, and now I'm getting first strike for some reason by 3 people. And it's just nutty, the amount of damage that can come off your health, and the amount of confidence it can suck out of like a frontliner on your team. It's like, yo, guys, we need to back off here. Just like the Gragas just getting completely taken out. Nice knock up there from the Ornn. We do see the Xayah managing to root. They are holding on to that mid wave with their life. Boba lovers really want to keep that mid turret alive, but we're seeing the Kha'Zix solo, or trying to at least solo start the Baron Nashor here, which could potentially be a means to an end for Boba lovers.
Yeah, just once again, great setup here, using the poke, and even the engage from Ornn. Yes, it didn't necessarily result in anyone going down or burning summoner spells, but you burned the Xayah ulti. Oh, I mean, Ken's pretty tanky, but this Kha'Zix is also very strong, and that is a dead Nunu in the jungle. And now Filet-O-Fish is, oh, this is just rude. This is just rude. He's just waiting for another one, but now he has friends. And Sim is going to make a fool out of Filet-O-Fish. That, yeah, trade 1 for 1. It's a kill over on both sides. Oh, this is
a kill over, but it was potentially a bait setup there. Double kill for Ziggs, though. I mean, they forced 2 champions into the red side of the jungle, whilst Hitman and Jackie was running down at the Baron lane with the minions buffed already, so down goes the inhibitor in the Baron lane. Mid lane falls as well. Cosmic takes the bot lane inhibitor. The Nexus is laid bare. The only person going to stop them is Nunu. The shield is just not enough, and it is... Game 3 goes to MohLIEVERS after a first round loss. They take it back with a 2-1.
That was one hell of a game. Yeah, I mean, like the opening sequence where Nevermind just walks away with 4 kills to start the first few minutes of the game. I was just like, oh man. And even Celestial, I think, had a trade, a 1-for-1 on the Cosmic in the early lane that Filet was not able to reprieve of, so that, or answer back. And that just set up what seemed like Boba lovers for a very, very strong early game. But then the you know what? I want to bring Pierce in on this because I feel like the big flip and the turning point for MohLIEVERS was the first dragon setup, the big flip.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the flip is where it started to turn, but I do want to talk first off on that early game and how far ahead Zaya got.
Yeah.
But then I just need to take a break and talk about itemization because the first item she bought she was up 2,000 gold, guys. Everyone else had like 3,000 gold. She had 5,000, but she bought like shield bow, which is like, it's like a lot of ADCs think it's a good item, but it's like it's not. It's just not. Like the itemization on it isn't like the stats and stuff you're getting isn't worth it for the gold. So like I think she had a big lead, but especially in a competitive match when you buy like a lackluster item, it makes your gold lead like a lot less. And I think that like starts to show in like some of the team fights. I think Jackie was playing out of his mind though with some of the hooks. Blam mentioned it, mid game. So that definitely makes it hard for the Zaya, but a little bit of wasted gold there, and it spirals when you're playing a team of Dienzio's caliber. 3 first strikes too. They had 2 dragons as well. Just massive plays from them. I don't think we have any. We can watch the replay here, but there was one part of the game where Ziggs was chasing, and I really want to highlight this because I think it was one of the best plays of the series, and it's like a really low key thing. Ziggs has one of the strangest mechanics where if you press Q and you flash backwards, the Q goes further than usual.
What?
So that's a mechanic that most people don't know about. It's literally a mechanic for ADCs to like show off Ziggs mechanics. It's like otherwise you're kind of just like from behind. But Dienzio pulled it off. I really want to highlight that because it's hard because you have to Q forward and then flash backwards, and you have to know that they're going to be at that range, and they have to not dodge. So that was really my play of the day. Ziggs getting the flash backwards.
I see the clip that you posted in our chat, and I'm just watching it. I did not realize that's what happened. I saw a flash come out, and I saw the Q, and all I thought he did was he just flashed forward and for the Q. It's like, oh hell yeah, let's go, But damn.
Yeah. So like a lot of champions, when you like queue up an ability and then you flash forward, you'll extend the range, but that doesn't work for Ziggs Q. You have to flash backwards to make it go forwards. So
that's wild.
So yeah, maybe we'll post the link in chat, but that play was incredible, and it really shows off, how Zio, does know his Ziggs. You talked about, how he was one of the premier Ziggs back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
He's kept up the mechanics. Like, really impressed with that.
I always love the arcs of like players evolving and like picking up new mechanics, because like even with a lot of the champions that have come up to Wild Rift, like obviously we for those that like play League will have like a little bit of an advantage of knowing, I can do Jarvan swag flag combo flash to reposition it, right? But then there are other things that are just completely new to Wild Rift. Like one of the things when Galio first came out, it was a while before someone realized, you can Justice Punch and then flash to redirect the knockup. That's a Wild Rift exclusive, which is freaking wild to me. So yeah, I love those moments, and especially for someone like Dienzio, who you already mentioned, like he's someone who still commits and grinds the game out, puts out a ton of YouTube content, streams on his channel as well, and is just always trying to level up his gameplay as well. He's a student of his craft, always trying to better his mastery every day. Much respect.
Really happy that Jackie played the Blitz, by the way. I wanted him to play it last weekend, and he brought it out here. He was trio with Mally and I a couple days ago, and his Challenger game promotion was on Blitz, so good to see him bring it out. Really showed that he can cook on those hook champions. You guys mentioned the Pike, from the week before. I think so. So tomorrow we have the rest of our quarterfinals, but I think next week is or 2 weeks from now, we're gonna get to see Dienzio and his team, the MohLIEVERS verse starting in his team, and I am just so pumped to see that. Unfortunately, it's in the semis, but after today's games, I mean, tomorrow's gonna be great too.
Yeah, I feel like that has happened in the past where we have gotten what might be a preview of the true grand finals in the tournament in like semifinals across multiple amateur and community organized tournament leagues like this one. I think there's one, I don't remember if it was Rift Masters or the one before it last year, but we basically had like some version of enemy versus this Sentinels or old ex-Sentinels roster match up against each other a couple of times. So I don't know how it always happens, but sometimes it is the way it is, how the tournament plays out, but it's always a hype matchup, and there's a lot of rivalry between members. I know, like, anytime Jackie is on the enemy roster and has to go up against this ex-Sentinels roster, it's just like maybe you think that they'll be able to get the series off of them, but it's always been the ex-Sentinels team favorite to win.
Yep.
Well, Pierce, thank you, bro.
Thank you very much. Yep,
Yeah,
thank you very much for your evening analysis. It's getting so late in the UK, I'm forgetting my own native tongue, so I do apologize. But yes, it's been great to have you. We had Blaziken last weekend, and now we've had Pierce. Both great analysis, and definitely a credit to what they do. So thank you very much for your input for today.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was great to be here, and it was even better to hear Rafa casting Wild Rift again. Thanks for coming back, dude. Appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, man.
All right, GG's.
We'll let Rafa do that one, but you can have the honors of doing that one.
Okay. Giveaway time, y'all. We have come to the end of the stream, so it's time to, I believe, announce the winner of our giveaway. I'm so sorry, production. I'm just going to be asking for you to hold my hand through this one because I'm not sure. Okay, so I see that in chat. You can no longer enter the raffle, so if you've already entered in, let's get the drum roll. And it is Omega Gamma has won the $10 through PayPal. Congratulations on winning the raffle. We will contact Jamco through Twitch or Discord, and you can collect your raffle prize winnings. Thank you for participating in the raffle, and for everyone, better luck next time. That sounded harsher than I meant it. You know what? It is one of the. It is. And then do we have one more? I'm sorry. I am. Oh yeah. Guys, we still have more banger action and matches coming your way for tomorrow. I'm gonna take a quick peek at the schedule once again to remind myself the teams. We have Haters taking on Afro 23 and Six Wolves taking on Superiority. Hopefully those are the correct team names. And all right. Oh, Z3?
Z3.
Scheisse. Oh, I was close. A little dyslexia moment. My bad, y'all.
Only two. We had only two throughout the stream, which I think is phenomenal for how long the stream has been. So.
Blam, thank you so much for being such a gracious and awesome co-caster to work with at my return to Wild Rift. It's been a blast, and I I just hope that you had as much fun as I did, because I was having a ball just kind of catching up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Always a pleasure to obviously get to cast with some of the greats. I mean, these are some of the icons casters. This is the thing that got me into casting, was the likes of you, Kangas, Stu, all through icons. I was like, man, that looks like fun and I want to do it. So thank you very much for influencing me to do this. So thank you. And I get to do it alongside you, which is even greater. So once again, thank you for dropping by and doing it with us.
Hell yeah. Well, time to raid out. Blam, take us away. Send us away.
Yep, so this is it, guys. So yeah, we'll be back tomorrow, obviously, with some more banger matches, and then there will be a week's break, which makes me sad, but there we go. I'm pretty sure there's another tournament that I'll be tuning into somewhere in the world of Wild Rift. But yeah, we will be raiding somebody, guys, so please stick around so we can support some people within the Wild Rift community. So stick around. Spade ram in the chat, raid in the chat. I had Ramus on my mind. Raid in the chat, and we will support one of our fellow community members. So take it easy, and we'll see you tomorrow.
And I'm not, 'cause the day